Hello, my name is Kafui Dey. My guest is M.anifest, rapper, songwriter, creative director, cultural storyteller, and widely regarded as one of Africa's greatest lyricists. But before the chat, the message from our sponsor, queuing for your favorite watching, we can accept it. If there's one thing that Ghanaians can relate with, it's queuing. Queuing for trotro, we can accept it. We adjust. We survive. In fact, if queuing was an Olympic sport, we would win gold, no doubt. But one thing we can't accept is queuing to swap your MTN SIM. Swap your MTN SIM yourself in minutes. Visit the My MTN app or dial *1333# to get this done ASAP. No more standing, no more sweating, no more who be the last person. Do it yourself. Simply swap it everywhere you go. And before we dive into the chat with M.anifest, a quick thank you to the space that makes conversations like this possible. We're recording today at BGL Recording Studio, your ultimate hub for content creation. Whether you're looking to produce a podcast, record an audiobook, or get high-quality voiceovers done, BGL offers a professional setup, excellent sound, and very affordable rates. If you're serious about your content, this is where you need to be. You'll find them at Old Brigade Street, just behind the 37 Military Hospital, or reach them on 0249 204 739. Big thanks to BGL Recording Studio for supporting Kafui Dey interviews. Now, let's get into the conversation. M.anifest, what happened?
Oh, we day inside.
Longest,
yeah, it's been a while.
What's new on your side?
Oh, moving and grooving. Yeah, just still doing music. I released an album last year, so we're still in that album cycle. That was New Road and Guava Trees. So, so doing things that to further the lifespan of it. So I'm working on more releases that's going to further the lifespan of that project, yeah.
I checked out YouTube, Spotify. Yeah, no, YouTube. Yeah, I saw a new song out. You and Kwating.
Yes. Very talented.
Doing quite well.
Yeah. I've been enjoying having collaborations with people who are now sort of on the upward trajectory, or well, I shouldn't say upward trajectory. They are in the beginnings of their career, but they are doing very well. And Kwating is one of those. And yeah, the song is called Out the Mud.
Yes.
Lovely visuals as well. We went to Tamale Red Clay Studio. That's where it was shot.
Okay.
At Ibrahim Muhammad's place. So yeah, it's a dope song. So I'm glad you checked it out.
I enjoyed it. Let's talk about your project released last year, New Road and Guava Trees.
Yes.
Why did that album feel necessary at that point?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know. I don't know what triggered it first, but I know that in 2023, I had a moment where I felt like, okay, what is the next chapter, right? And to reflect on the next chapter, we live in a Sankofa economy, so it felt like I had to make a return to look at the next chapter, and naturally, I came to the idea of New Road and Guava Trees, which was that, sometimes to chart a new road, you have to make a fruitful climb. And also I grew up in Medina New Road, so the double entendre was going to work out.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a really great question in terms of why that moment. But I think at that moment I really needed to chart a new path, and in doing so, it's always good to look back and then go further forward. So yeah.
Guava Trees, you climb any when you're growing up?
Of course, there was a guava tree in my house, Medina New Road, M83/1.
You still remember the house number?
Yes. Well, they've changed it to, they've changed all these houses to ridiculous names like
I'm seeing some
Street and
Clinton Street and
but
Jackson
anyway,
Road.
there was a guava tree in the house.
All right.
We used to climb it and get guava, swing on it. It was lovely. It's not there anymore. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if it died a mortal death, even though it's not mortal.
Still a living being. Do you still enjoy guava?
Absolutely. They are not as prevalent these days.
Yeah, now that you say
guava, cashew, abrofonkatia too.
Yes.
It's not as
Almond.
prevalent.
No.
Almond, yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say cashew. Yeah, so, I think that's one of the bigger tragedies that I have lived to see, sort of the the decline of fruit trees. They were just normal when I was growing up
Yeah.
in a lot of homes, you know. For me, there was a coconut tree, there was a guava tree, there was an orange tree, there was a tangerine.
In one space.
Yeah, the house isn't even
Wow.
that big. And I think, and then so I was going to say pear and an avocado
Yeah,
tree.
well, yeah.
You know, and then the neighbors had a mango tree that leaned to our house, so obviously it would fall. Or you
harvest,
can't,
man.
You know, so
No fights? No fights?
no fights over the
fruit?
I mean,
Because
if
the
you
root
see the one
is in
that's
your
really ripe.
Wait, there your house
Wait,
inside.
there your house where you take some stick, do I mean, people feed jigar on that side, but yeah, no.
That's it.
Yeah, no, I really do have fond memories of growing up in that regard, and a guava tree being one of those memories.
Yeah.
I'm glad I reflected on my latest project.
Yeah, they've all been juiced now. I mean, the only guava I taste now is when it's been juiced and put in a box. You know, I don't see the fruit itself.
Oh, I mean, you can, you know, even in around 37 and a couple of other places where they sell a lot of fruits. I mean, if it's in season, you find some. I mean, they look quite injured. They don't look as pristine as the ones that you might have in the box. But but yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm a fruits guy. I like fruits.
Yeah. What's your favorite fruit now? Fruit.
You know, mangoes I never fail, to be honest.
I had one this morning.
Yeah, mangoes, you go around, you come back. I really love the skill with which the women where they did the street.
Yeah.
How have you seen them slice the mangoes?
No. The big one, the bigger mangoes.
Yeah. I mean, when you buy them on the street and then they slice it,
Charlie.
It's surgical.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So I think mangoes I never fail for me, but depending on the. I mean, I have these days to maybe in the last 2 years, watermelon is a frequent thing.
Yeah.
Coconuts, they are fruits, right?
Yes.
I love coconuts.
Yeah,
but I mean, more or less, I like coconut water.
Yes.
Kubinsu.
Yes.
Coconut water sounds strange. Kubinsu sounds better.
It be so. New road, what does that mean to you?
The literal new road where I grew up it's home. It's where I grew up with my mother, my grandparents. I mean, what is actually quite fascinating is both sets of grandparents live in New Road.
Oh, okay.
Maybe less than a 5-minute walk from each other.
Nice.
Yeah, there's just around all of them near Akosombo Junction.
So you have that generation there.
So yeah, I could visit my mother's father, of course, and I lived with my mother and my grandparents on the other side. So for me, it represents home, it represents family, and it represents a childhood in which I think I was given a foundation of knowing both my immediate environment and the world at large.
Do you reckon that success has made you more reflective?
Success. I mean, success is such a I was going to say a treacherous or tedious concept, but maybe that's too much. I mean, the road to success is a never-ending one. It's like knowledge, I think. You know, I mean, being successful is maybe if I'm able to live to 100.
Yeah.
Being successful is great health. Being successful is being able to do music for a living when it's something that I would never have imagined. Being successful is being a father and maybe not always being good at it, but learning on the job.
On the job training.
You know, so I think time and doing things makes you reflective.
You know, I'm smiling as you are saying this because when I was constructing the sentence, I was going to go with, has time, the passage of time made you more reflective? And I thought, let me go for success. But time, I guess, is the word.
It's definitely time.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, success is, you know, it's many things, and it's also a fleeting concept because, you know, and for me, I think ultimately the joy is in the journeys. Being successful as a human being is the most important thing. Everything else is a branch of that tree.
You recently said revisiting the album made your lips and soul crack a smile. What exactly were you proud of?
I was proud of the fact that, number one, it didn't sound like any other album I had. It still sounded like me. I went to uncharted territory sonically. A big part of what I do is trying to really think of the sonic architecture, how to make it interesting, because that's what posterity will reward you for, right? And that's what the idea of classics or everything is.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the moment thing. We are, you know, we are so much prisoners of the moment. We're looking for that. So, and obviously, when you release an album, aside from performing songs from it, you usually don't listen to it, because I'd listen to it probably a year or 2 years continuously together. So a year later, being able to hear it and realize that myself and my collaborators, whether producers, whether the people who helped with the visuals, we executed on the ideas we wanted. So I think that was a moment of pride in terms of being able to look back a year later and said, oh, I actually set off to do something and managed to do it in a way in which I myself would listen to it.
Would you say this is like your most personal project to date?
No, not particularly. I think the idea sounds personal, and all of my ideas I need to have a personal connection to them. But I'm hoping that my most personal project will come probably in the next 5 years. I think all my projects, there's a reflection of me in there. So it's tough to say. I don't know if that's my most personal project. Nowhere Cool has glimpses of some very personal songs, like Now Here Cool, etc., in which I delve into things. And New Road and Guava Trees, similarly. But I don't know. I don't know if I could say that's my most personal project. All of them feel personal to me, obviously. But it's not. It's not a life story. You know, I think part of being a musical author and is you're creating an album. You're part of it, but it's not literally an autobiography. That's not what my music is about. But I am inside. I mean, because I'm not just an external observer. I am inside. You know, when I make songs like Charlie What They Happen, I'm talking. I did inside, but it's also not completely a selfish endeavor in which I'm creating a world and universe that other people connect to. So it's always like it's almost like sometimes an out of body experience, because even when I'm writing personal experiences, sometimes it's almost like I stand outside of myself.
Watch.
Yeah. So yeah.
What was that like, man? That whole out of the body experience when you're creating.
I mean, art is divine, and that's one of the things that when you come to accept very early will probably give you longevity in this thing. It's not like any other thing that I know in this life. You know, when you go to school for mathematics, it can help you solve equations. When you go to school, critical thinking can enable you to see a challenge and whatever. Music and art is divine. I don't know how it comes. You practice the skill and the craft of it. Okay, this is how to rhythmically do multisyllabic, etc. But that is not where the soulful connection is. Those are not where the ideas is. You're drawing from this divine world that you don't even know how you're doing it. But obviously, you know, the idea of 10,000 hours of mastery, when you do it over and over, you can do it. But the parts that really catches people, the connective part of like just the idea that's soulful, that's spiritual, it's still just a divine thing. So to answer your question, I don't know, but I accepted a long time ago that is part of this thing that is spectacular to me. That I've been very fortunate to have a bucket that it can draw infinitely from the well.
It never gets dry.
Oh man,
it's always there.
I mean, you know, I said it one time, you know, for my gift to disappear is my worst fear, because I realized that's what it is. It's a gift, because I don't know. You don't know how it happens.
No.
You understand?
Yeah.
You know, yes, there's song construction. People want to talk about all the technical things that comes to it, but the main thing, that the soul of it,
the spiritual side of it,
the stuff that AI mimics,
can never get.
Well, I mean, they mimic what's already there, but they can't produce it.
You know, from nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
You talked about climbing those trees, those guava trees back in the day. After Minneapolis and London and other parts of the world, I mean, what does that tree mean to you now, that guava tree?
The one that was cut down.
Yes. Another guava tree that you experienced. Yeah.
The idea of return means a lot to me. So the guava tree is the idea of return. You know, I like the series, The Wire is one of my favorite series. And there's a scene, I think, where the guy called Bunk is a policeman. He's talking to Omar or something, and they say something about a man has to have a code or whatever. But the point being, you have to have a center to always return to. when you lack a center to return to, you can lose your way and go astray. So the guava trees maybe is a symbol of a center,
Okay.
home of the things that you grew up with, that you learn, and the simplicity of life. And after you do so many things and you go so many places and you live in other people's land, sometimes you have to return home to self. So even though you are growing, we must grow. I think that it's maybe symbolizes the idea of a return.
Do you also think that guava tree also symbolizes like purity of creation before streams, before algorithms, before industry pressure? There was the guava tree.
Purity is overrated. We like to dirty ourselves in this life.
There's a line in one of the songs like that.
Not particularly. I don't think this. I don't consider anything. I mean, I suppose what you're referring to is, there's a time of innocence, maybe, or a time of innocence for me when I was younger, but a time of
less tech.
But no, I don't think so. I disagree with that. No, I shouldn't say I disagree with that. I have a different point of view with that, because I think everything is relative. There was a time that there was no television sets. So when they were introduced, there was a generation that was probably like, all you do now is sit in front of a
the
TV,
box.
and then it was black and white, then became color. And then, I am old enough but young enough to remember when there was libraries where we had to
Saturday's going to read,
etc. And then the internet now. I mean, you understand? So it's just different times. But what we can learn from simpler times, because that's what sometimes it is, simpler times, because what we think is abundance is just a lot of things that are actually taken away from simple things in life. So maybe what we can do is maybe perhaps, once again, coming to the idea of the return, have historical perspectives that allows us to return to the simpler foundational part of life, and happiness and joy and love and all these things. And sometimes when you study history and other things, you realize some of these things. I won't be surprised if 20 years from now, people they have more tech, but are spending less time on it, because maybe they're like, our lives have been ruined by the fact that we're always on the screen, etc. So every day I'm going to just be on this thing for 3 hours. I won't be surprised, because that's how life is. It's in cycles. So I don't know about purity, but I do think things within one's childhood and symbols like the guava tree represent maybe simpler times. Yeah.
I wish you success with that project. I hope more people stream it and enjoy it.
Absolutely. So there's more tracks coming towards a deluxe for that, and I'm excited. I'm going to start releasing them soon.
Let's talk about artistry and creativity. So this is a post I read on your Facebook. To fall complacent to the cheers of the easily impressed. Who were you trying to say there?
I think that is one of the greatest trappings of making headway in whatever your practices, and in my world, obviously being music and rapping, is that there's you develop a lot of people who have an affinity for what you do, who then through no fault of theirs, as just such strong supporters, and are blinded to your flaws. You understand? So what you did there might be a 6/10. They will scream and cheer for it like it was a 9.5/10. Part of it is an emotional memory of what you probably provided for them before that they attached to, But it is our responsibility then, having been given this kind of love and trust from people who have listened to us, to do self-checks and introspection. And before you fall off that mountain and realize that you are rock bottom because you did not, order your steps, and you did not check to see, look, this thing, I was in the studio yesterday, there were 10 people there and we're all jamming to this. But, what are my checks and balances in terms of making sure this is really advancing my work and what I'm putting out there, so that once again, we are not prisoners of the moment, So that's what I really meant, because that complacency can seep in very easily. And there have probably been moments, if I am to admit, that I have seen that in my own self, where I think I could have taken something to a 9.5, 10, but it was an 8 or 7.5. But because the idea was so potent, and I'm getting fans, I keep it there.
Yeah, keep it there.
But I would say that one of the things that myself and people I work with have tried to do is just keep ourselves accountable in terms of at least quality and just what's the mission and the vision? I just want to stick into that. You understand? And so that's what I meant by that.
How do you maintain or even excel beyond what you've done? How do you keep competing against yourself? Because that's what it is, really.
Yeah, I think there are many things that I do. Number one, I have to keep growing as a human. If I don't, then there's going to be less to draw from. So I try to let myself go as a human. I'm not trying to be a Peter Pan in this whole thing.
Forever young. No.
Yeah, well, not forever young. I mean, going the opposite way. I mean, getting old but not growing.
That's it.
I think growth is important. So that's number one. Number two, I think trying new things. Experimentation is quite important. And because it keeps so every year or every couple of months I might take on something like a year or two ago I had a random interest in just taking portraits, so I started like a Finstack photo festival.
Okay, what was that? What were you doing?
I just take portraits of people with my phone and post it. And then I have this fascination with the stuff at the back of church. So now, but doing different things that kind of ginger you and inspire you, and then just open your world up to many things. I mean, I think more often than not, I'm getting inspiration from other people outside of the world of music. The filmmakers, fine artists, etc. So opening my world to all these allows one to really have such a vast pool to draw inspiration from and to grow from.
I'm glad you're referring to taking inspiration from other non-music fields, because when I look at your albums, it's almost as if you are treating them like an architect. You build
a world.
Build a world. How do you map out the emotional physics of a project?
That's an excellent question. I like that term, the emotional physics of a project. That's excellent. I usually begin off an emotional trigger or an idea, right? It might not be but it might not be fully formed yet.
It's a germ of an idea.
Yeah, it's just yes. It's something that's just I need to plant and not knowing what that seed is, right? I don't know what that seed is. I don't know if it's eucalyptus or I have no idea what
guava.
It is. Or guava. So it starts from that, but then I have to act on it, right? So
how do you trap them, those ideas?
Well, you don't trap them, you have to free them. But you free them, but you feed them. Right? So for me, for instance, with New World and Guava Trees, one made an active decision to do it outside of Ghana. So leave the comfort zone. So I went to a good friend of mine in Seattle. I was in Seattle for 3 weeks to a month, and then we went to LA. So within like a 5-week or something period, most of the album was done. So that decision point, for instance, that we made as a team, fed the idea, because if I was here, daily routine, you understand, the idea would just be I'll be going to studio as I usually do, etc., instead of locking in, as we say these days. So for instance, so taking an action like that helps to, and then I think this is where it becomes a bit more critical. By that time that I take the action that has allowed the seed to germinate and I see what it is, now it's time to really nurture it, to let it blossom, right? So then trying to figure out, okay, what is... You were the Guava Trees, for instance, I didn't have the title till I was working on it. I don't begin with the title, I begin with the idea and the feeling. Well, sometimes I begin with the title, but I didn't. So then naming it, what is this? That that we clearly know what it is, but he doesn't have a name. Okay, what are the colors? What do we see? What does it look like putting it out into the world?
So it's music, but you see colors too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm using colors loosely and literally at the same time. But yes, you have to see some level of color because if I make an album that is very melancholy,
It's great.
I shouldn't have an artwork that is so sunny. I shouldn't.
You don't have this on the
No. I need to, there has to be some cohesion around all of it. One of the things I love most about musicians who are like really top tier is that they're craftspeople and they think about this thing in a 360 way. You understand? And so I'm very inspired by everybody, young and old, starting and whatever. That's one of the reasons I like somebody like Kwatin. He's thinking through how everything is, the performance art of how he's presenting things, how he's the fashion and the styling, the color grade of the thing, etc. So for me, that's the other that final piece of it is sort of when the idea has germinated and you're beginning to see it. How does it become a full blown guava tree?
Yes. Ready to fruit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How do you know when lyrics should step back and then production should take over?
Oof. That's an excellent question. Number one, I think I always choose collaborators and producers who also have a great understanding of what will make a song go from good to great. So if I don't see it, somebody around me might suggest something or might see it. But to answer the question, I think it's a feeling thing. I'm in the business of ideas and words, right? So ideas are not just words. So in my album, there was so if you look at the closing track on New Road and Guava Trees, there's a song called Secondhand. So the last 45 seconds or whatever is really just, drums dropping out, and the refrain happening kind of in some kind of distorted way and sitting under the music, etc. Because we want you to go out and feel emotionally, how do I say, emotionally triggered, but not in a negative way, but saying that, you're going through this thing, you've gone through this experience or this album, etc. So yeah, it's really how we want to create a moment or how we want to make you feel. There isn't a formula of, this is when the voice drops out. No, it's not a formula, but it's a really good question because I think that's actually something that people ought to consider. Instead of being formulaic, you have to consider that you're really trying to communicate something. Imagine a Bobby McFerrin song. Don't worry,
be happy.
I mean, if we didn't have the ooh, and he was trying to put words there,
nah, it's not gonna work.
I mean, come on, that's the most. You understand?
Yeah. That's what we remember the song.
Yes,
anyway.
So it's sometimes it's being obedient to inspiration. Yeah,
I can imagine somebody going to a DJ and say, "Look, I want this one." Ooh.
Exactly. It over every lyric on that song. Be true. Except the don't worry. Yeah.
Would you say you are obsessive about sequencing and detail and crafting the project together? Absolutely.
More and more, even more as the years go by, because I won't lie, my first few projects was done in a very bootstrappy way. That, especially before I came to Ghana, Manifestations, The Birds and the Beats, Immigrant Chronicles, and there's something to be said about that rawness. I was recording myself, I was mixing myself, but I do cringe sometimes listening to them now. No, because fantastic songs. Yeah. I mean, if I may say so myself, it doesn't sound humble.
You have to love your own stuff.
Yeah,
man.
No, yeah, I mean, songs, Charlie, What They Happen, stuff. All these songs were on it, but I cringe sometimes because I know that was I in a different position, I could have elevated some of those things. Not simple things, better mix, better master, change the sequence. Maybe this song we could have been slightly shorter.
But that was the stage of the journey.
I know. There's no regrets. But that small cringe is because sometimes when you're obsessive, and you know what you're doing now, and you know the skill sets you've developed. I didn't go to school for this. I learned on the job, and I'm still learning on the job.
So-
So the more you get to know, you start dissecting the cadaver and the different.
Yeah. Going to the detail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm not going to act like I'm obsessive in a way in which I self-sabotage. I don't release music, no, but I'm obsessive in the way in which I think it helps with the quality, you know.
Do you have songs that you haven't released because you're not
Yeah.
ready yet?
I have some of my favorite songs that I've ever made. I haven't released because I don't think they're complete. They're not complete because it doesn't have verse, chorus. No, you have that, but there's something about it that I know that this song is so good, but there's something that's not making it go there.
Yeah.
And you know, one of those, I think I figured it out and it'll be part of the New Road and Guava Trees Deluxe. So yeah, I do have songs that I do. I mean, I probably have more unreleased songs than released songs.
Is there going to be like a sequel to New Road and Guava Trees?
That's what I'm saying. There's a
Deluxe.
deluxe. So,
Okay.
so there's going to be almost an addendum.
Okay.
You know, almost like an epilogue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah.
What's the timeline for that one?
Oh, it's now basically. So that's what I'm saying. I don't want to complete. Is this year? So, but it's definitely there's a rollout that is already in place.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. But it's extending the life. So, you know, I don't know if it's should I say what the name is? No, I can't say the name. But it is.
We don't mind if you break it here.
It is a different iteration of New Road and Guava Trees,
Okay.
but it's the same thing. So it's almost like watching Godfather 1 and 2.
Why not? If you like the first one, you probably like the second one as well.
Yeah.
So this
but it's part of it. It's actually, maybe not Godfather 1 and 2. Godfather, you see, the first one is like 3 hours. So
Yes.
you've seen the first 2.5 hours, but you need that last 30 minutes.
could make it complete.
Yeah.
You know, with this, the whole, and I get that being obsessive about details, sequencing, all that. Do listeners underestimate that quality of you?
That's an interesting question, and perhaps maybe you are suggesting it. I do think because on the national scene, I think because what has been most loudly spoken about me is my lyricism. The artistry and sort of the musicianship is often overlooked. You know, I hear people like, "Oh yeah, no, my M.anifest, they can rap, but this person they makes it." No, I think my lyrical ability actually pales in comparison to the artistry of being able to put things
The
together.
creative direction side of things.
Yeah. It pales in comparison, but because obviously hip hop is my primary medium and is fiercely competitive, when I step in that arena, let's say when there's Hennessy Cypher, all these things that they see me in, of course I come with the A game. I've never made Ghana look bad, whether it was on the radar, whether it was sit down and write, whatever it was called. You understand? So because of those, being able to create those moments with lyricism, I think those that are maybe casuals often forget that maybe my strongest suit is really like the artistry and sort of putting things together. But it's not anybody's fault, or it's not something that should upset me or whatever. You know, maybe it just shows I have a longer road to go in showing the world what I have to contribute. You know, somebody like Kanye, or he calls himself Yena, I think. Understandably, because of some of the problem like you just identified with me, was very loud about who he was in the beginning, to the point where people consider him obnoxious because he didn't want to be seen as a producer. No, I'm this. I'm not. No. You know, but that's his way. But that's not my way, and that's not the way of many other people. And sometimes you have to work hard enough for the work to speak louder.
That's it.
I'll say, but lastly, the addendum to that is the thing that brings me, I don't want to say validation, but I mean some level of gratification, is that outside of Ghana, I don't think that problem happens.
It doesn't.
No, I think people perceive me for sort of my artistry and etc., which is why, I mean, my career has fortunately had some really cool international features in terms of, you know, I pop up on Fatoumata Diawara's album, you know, work with Tony Allen, Flea, I was on Benner's album, Takes the Author. I recently worked with Ezra Collective, an amazing jazz. You understand? I'm popping up on these because those people don't have that skewed view of me.
Yeah.
I think they have a, so it's probably more of a national problem because it's not a problem. It's just a national phenomenon. You know, that's because it's like, I mean, people see, I think people can reconcile the fact that you can be very top tier on the lyricist side and also with artistry. And also there's also like a condescension towards hip hop, to be honest.
People look down on hip hop.
They love it, but they don't.
You don't think it's serious music?
I don't think, no. I don't think they see it the same way when it comes to artistry, you know, which is funny because I think hip hop has probably been some of the most artistic music of the last like 50, okay, hip hop is 50 years, I'm doing too much. The last 20 years, the last 20 or 30 years, some of the most artistic, and you know, to the point where I've had people who's in Ghana who have well-meaning, who want to introduce me to somebody and say, oh no, he's not just a rapper. There's nothing. Rapping is some of the highest artistry that, you know, so, you know, we've seen. These are some of the most incredible storytellers who are, a lot of them are also sound architects, you understand? You know, so part of it is sort of this skewed perception of what your primary medium is. Just because somebody's primary medium is singing, for instance, doesn't make them more artistic.
At all.
At all. So, you know, pop music, a lot of pop music is way less artistic than hip-hop music. A lot of hip-hop music is pop as well. So I think that's where the confusion comes in, is that people enjoy hip-hop and they see, but they are not going to consider it like Yo-Yo Ma, or Yo-Yo Ma is the...
the violinist.
Yeah,
yes.
And or
Pavarotti.
Konimo. You know, but you know, yeah. But so outside of Ghana, it's not an issue. And my grandfather, rest his soul, was somebody who did not have the same condescension towards hip hop. He had such a great fascination and interest in the music I was doing. When I was working on Nowhere, I would play songs and be deconstructing. Okay, maybe too much for you understand.
The great Professor
Yes.
He would be deconstructing your sound.
Yes, and,
nice.
and asking me questions. He was even more curious. It's almost like he had things to learn, you know. So that was enough validation for me. So to answer your question, I mean, I have to just keep on with the thing. And maybe moments like this where somebody like you who actually notices this gap of understanding of artistry and just being a lyricist, maybe will shift the conversation, but it's not something I should worry about.
I think to use like the building and the architect's terminology, most people, maybe the audiences here, the phenomenon is they admire the building, but they don't see the architect's plan, the plumbing, everything that came out to make the building look the building it is that for you to admire and just see the colors. They don't see what's going on under.
Yeah, and maybe you are just the owner of the building. You had nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
So they don't rate you.
At all. I mean, your song, Charlie, What It Happened, we use it for, it's a sick tune for my radio show, What It Happened.
Yeah.
And for me, when I hear Charlie, I'm listening to the stuff under. All that keyboard stuff going on. For me, that's also interesting as what you're saying, you know? So it's not just lyrics, it's just the construction of the music. And that's what appeals to me.
And even the cadence and the melodies, I got dirty feet, it's you know, it's I'm glad to say, because it's really odd when the artists themselves is trying to say, notice how great this is. But I mean, it's a fascination conversation whenever somebody else brings it up, because you're like, oh, you notice it, you know, it's beyond it being felt. You know, it's great to have a conversation about artistry in which sort of some of the construction of it is noticed.
I think also because I love jazz, and I know that a guy like Bob James is almost like a one of the founding fathers of hip hop because of the samples that they use to make his music. So I'm also listening to the music under the what the lyrics are doing. So for me, it's not just words, but it's words and it's music and it's structure and everything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've learned a lot from the people I worked with. That's one of the things I'll give credit to. I've worked with fantastic producers since the time I was in Minneapolis. I spent probably more time with producers than rappers. So in essence, I've actually been a producer, but not in the sense of like getting on a keyboard. And there was so much learning. And I've learned from so many people I work with, you know, even locally too. the first person that played for me in a band as a band was Akabile, for instance. Who actually was brought to us by Ibo Taylor. Rest his soul.
Rest his soul.
My Uncle Ibo, because he's a family friend, etc. So you learn from all those different people. I had a period of time I was doing a bit of work with Kwame Ibo. I learned a lot through that period because he used to do. I'll play in some song I like, and he'd be like, okay. He used to just have such a rich understanding of how to do things.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from that. And, then I started working with the younger people, the likes of Drum Roll and Mike Mills, and then the new ways of doing, and then it gets exciting. And I go back New Road and Guava Trees and work with Budo, who was the person I worked with that produced Safa initially over and under Kilimanjaro and some of those things. We hadn't worked together for like 14 years.
Then you come back.
And we came back, the return. Actually, I forgot that. So the Guava Tree was not the only return. I returned to a producer.
Exactly so.
Yeah.
You be so. Just curious, what separates a good album from a timeless album?
Oof. Time.
That's it.
Yeah. Time is the only judge of that. Because to be timeless, at least some 10 years for past make we see how we feel. Because Miseducation of Lauryn Hill always sound incredible. A lot of these Marvin Gaye, what's going on is always going to sound incredible. A lot of Osibisa albums, Uncle Ibo, Love and Death, so it's time. Time. I think some classics in the moment, or seeming classics, are not always going to be timeless, because sometimes they're just bound to something in the moment. Maybe in this moment, our ears and frequencies like synth so much that when we hear this thing, Charlie, make we jigger to a level. You understand? Maybe there was like an aluta going on, and this was a soundtrack, and we thought it was a classic. But time is the ultimate deciding factor on what is going to be timeless. Yeah.
Let's talk about mass appeal.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
Man. So I signed with Mass Appeal Records, which is based out of New York, and that's where I put that is the, what do you call it, the label through which New Road and Guava Trees was put out. For me, it meant a new chapter, a new road. It's quite incredible that, I was growing up in high school, all of us were listening to, the Tupacs, the Biggies, and Nas, and then years later, I'm doing records with the label he co-owns, together with Peter. It's been great. Just an opportunity to see how we can make further inroads into the world, It's always, once again, it's always quite gratifying when external business people, they are creative entities, but it's also business, see that there's value in what you're doing, and it's like, let's try and see how far we can take this. So it's been a dope journey. They're based out in New York, so I was able to do some cool stuff in terms of a press run, and we're still looking to do a lot of cool stuff, and hopefully maybe one day we can do something incredible in Ghana that can bring Nas.
So how did the connect happen?
How did the connect happen? The connect happened through a friend, a music exec friend called Larry. He's at the Orchard now. And at the time, we were looking for where to locate it, the album. That also takes time, sometimes figuring out where's the home for this. I think home is such a theme in this thing, returning home. And my manager at the time was looking at different options, and then Larry was aware that Mass Appeal was looking into global expansion, and so I think he sent them the music. They were excited. I was in London. I remember, I don't know if it wasn't to play the 5th anniversary of African Giant Burna Boys, but I did play during that time. But I remember that then Peter, who's the CEO of Mass Appeal, was in London. So Larry organized a lunch. We had a lunch. The music had been heard. And in 5 minutes, the deal was done. Because, sometimes it's synergy, you know. And I think it's also just having a body of work or a resume.
Yes.
It's there to see.
Evidence.
Like, who's this person? What do they represent? Are they capable of doing whatever? And once again, is it a business possibility that is good, whatever? So, yeah, we're there on that journey. I'm very grateful for it, and I think I'm looking forward to see what we can do with this in the next project. Yeah, because we are still on the journey.
You do so. The road is still there.
The road is still there. And Charlie, we don't see the end of it.
No, we see the goal.
We don't know where we go, but if we go far.
Well, we did top.
We did top, yeah.
How do you balance like label expectations with artistic independence?
Ooh, good question. I mean, my deal and the people I work with, Master P, I don't think that's even an issue. They are very, I don't want to say the word is not cooperative. I think they're very supportive, and it's sort of, there isn't no trying to, oh, you should do this. No. I mean, I pretty much work on my music, and then together with my team sort of propose a plan. I mean, of course, they've been in the business, so they have really good ideas of, yeah, maybe try this, not creatively, but in terms of creative markets. And I think the biggest thing is just having a home where they have had such experience with creative marketing and other things and done things that I haven't been able to do at scale, honestly, even though I've had proximity to a lot of it. So yeah, there isn't any sort of intrusive label artist relationship at all.
So your artistic freedom is not
it's the same,
cramped because now global money is
nothing has changed.
Okay.
Nothing has changed. If anything, on that aspect, if anything, is just an increase in possibility in terms of just reach. Yeah.
Talking of reach, what are your thoughts on TikTok?
I love TikTok. I love TikTok. Look, I don't think I saw that. Every week TikTok gives you like. So last week, and I think it's probably because of Kwati's song and because he's. So I was just kind of observing. Last week was my most weekly being ever on TikTok was 9 hours.
Okay.
But usually it's like 2 to 3 hours a week. But those 2 to 3 hours are some of my favorite hours because it's so fascinating to me, sort of how you are scrolling and seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
Kumasi TikTok just they draw me.
For real. What were your highlights, man?
They're very creative people who are doing all sorts of skits, and people are really, at some point I was getting really concerned that our languages are disappearing since we're even in the languages place. But when you start seeing some of these things in TikTok, some people are really, especially, I don't know if every language, but especially Chi, some of the young people sound like Titifo, like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you get a glimpse of so many things. Yeah. Everything is there. But, I was partly being facetious and saying I love it. I do like it. But I think the most interesting thing is for a lot of independent artists, for a lot of artists operating outside of the margins of the center of where this thing is, which is the US and sometimes Europe, things like TikTok can become equalizers, viral, and you can go viral. The algorithm is crazy. The algorithm is Meta, and people they are suppressing the thing so you can advertise. I can see, but TikTok is just the algorithm. I don't know what the Chinese people are on, but Charlie, they're onto something. So it's very fascinating to me, and I think there's a very reluctant, older and younger, older millennials, and there's a very reluctant demographic when it comes to TikTok.
One of my team members doesn't understand it. If be that.
But you did YouTube, but you don't go to TikTok.
You don't understand TikTok, man. Bro. But she understands it.
Yeah, correct woman. Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to I don't work for TikTok, so I don't care where you are. I mean, but I'm always fascinated by any technology that is providing artists a possibility that didn't exist before.
It's almost like a record label for you to launch your stuff, right? For the young
people.
It's
not definitely not a record label. It's for some artists, especially the introverted ones who, most artists are introverted, but especially the ones who don't like to perform.
Yeah.
It's tough because right now you become the marketing tool.
Yes.
You're competing with content creators. The algorithm is not saying, this is a musician.
No.
No.
This is a content creator.
Hey,
That's it.
Charlie, I've spent hours in the studio. I have to come online, and then somebody who's holding their phone and saying today, and or saying rubbish, or somebody who's just wearing or not wearing, But so it can be a challenge. But one thing we have to remember is that art and artists and success has always been tied to sort of some level of public performance. So this is the new version of that.
That's it.
So I don't think you have to embrace it in the way everybody does it. You're not going to see me on TikTok with Dance God Lloyd doing any steps. I'd rather see him do it.
Have you been tempted to chase virality on TikTok? Have you been tempted?
It's not virality. I want to connect, right? Because you don't know what I have learned is you want to learn what connects, right? And when you do that, maybe at some point the thing will favor you. So, so I guess I try things, right? To see like, is this something I'd try to do? Like one of the things I do on TikTok I probably don't do anywhere else. I'm not great with TikTok yet, but I like observing. Is that sometimes I have random thoughts and I'll share it.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like it's a space for that. It's a space where I don't always have to be like, oh, I'm promoting music and whatever. And IG, I'm just so reluctant, and Twitter day, I just free my mind, I talk. But TikTok is a place for me. Sometimes I want to try something that's a bit more unscripted.
Okay.
Like, okay, I have this random thought, so let me say it.
How's that going, man? What's the response like?
It's normal. Like, it's nothing of... It's not broke any ground, but it pleases my soul.
Yeah. I think I have that with Snap. I do that with Snap. I'm going to put my random thoughts there.
Okay, exactly. So, once again, but I mean, it's really not even just about me and this benefit to me. Like I was saying, I just, I don't want to say discover. I find out about so many artists on TikTok, because they are doing their thing. Somebody has just really, so somebody like Quatin,
is that what you found
RC, found them. But usually for me, I don't even lie. Half of it is usually through somebody I try. I think it was Mike Mills, the producer, who showed it to me, and I think we talked about it in the studio. But yeah, TikTok, sometimes I'll randomly come across, there's a kid called Babes from Kumasi. I don't think it was TikTok, but once again, I watch his TikTok and see what he's done. So yeah, it's an opportunity. That's what I'm saying. It's not like back in the day. Then some of these young people will never have, at the beginning at least, the kind of resources that will get them, prime time, anything.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, they haven't worked enough to be able to sit with you, to have this privilege that I have. This kind of marketing, they can't have it yet, but they have TikTok.
Yeah, that's it. So use it.
Yeah. So it's just a tool in that regard, but I can understand for a different kind of artist how that can be frustrating. They are but they also can figure it out. Maybe I see people who are successful posting picture-like content on TikTok. It's not all video.
Yeah, sometimes pictures, yeah.
Yeah, man, shout out to the Chinese people.
So. Audio yourself, man. I think, picture-like with audio at the back. Yeah, that's it. You don't have to always stand there.
Yeah, so you shout out to the people who they create these things, man. China is on one right now, man. I need to go to China. If I blow up in China, forget, you see me Ghana.
You've never been there before?
You said? Unfortunately, but I would love to. And it's in my plans. Asia, I haven't done much of Asia, so I really want to it did my plans inside
China, blow up in China, man.
Bro, it'll be over.
M.anifest.
Shout out to Kim Promise. I saw he blew up in either Indonesia or
it was
somewhere.
I think Singapore.
Is it Indonesia?
One of those Asian places, yeah.
Amazing. I was so geeked for him. I was like, this is what it's about. Yeah. Once again, I'm sure it was TikTok. Yo, I think they're going to think they paid us.
Hey, Charlie.
And we said we were not even the demographic.
No. We took no money from TikTok. Right? These are just our thoughts. All right, let's move away from TikTok to something that you've spoken about. Risk is wealth.
I said that?
Yes, you did. Yes, you said risk is wealth.
I said that.
I enjoyed your Facebook.
I'll be talking something. So
yes, maybe that's one of the random thoughts that didn't go to TikTok. But I'm just curious about the kind of risks that you've taken that looked dangerous at that time, but they actually produced something interesting.
Being a musician, that was an incredible risk. When I was growing up, the idea that this was even a possibility was so far-fetched. I mean, sometimes it still feels far-fetched. It's like, When does this end?
Did your father have plans for you?
You said?
Did your father have plans for you
No.
follow a particular line of work?
No. You know, no. Not my father, not my mother. Nobody had plans for me. I think, you know, my parents and my family at large, nobody said this from their lips. I'm just saying by observation. It's really just raising you, giving you the tools to succeed. You know, I got education, I got fed and nourished. You know,
Housed.
Yeah, housed. Nourishing conversations and access to brilliant minds and everything. Nobody ever suggested a major. I should major in a career, etc. You know, so, but I think the idea is you've been given the tools, and you can make something out of yourself, for yourself and for the world at large. I think I've had a lot of people in my family, whether my mother, my father, my grandfather, whose lives have been about more than just themselves. My mom is a pastor now. She gave up being a lawyer. That's in service of others. I think my father was in the civil service, right?
Yeah. You know your father.
My grandfather, did ethnomusicology. So things of the world. So hopefully, one day I can also scale up to that level. I'm working towards it in this next chapter, where it's sort of, I think I have built enough of a cachet to be able to leverage off to make bigger contributions into the creative world and the world at large. So I'm looking forward to this next chapter. Next time we have a sit down, I'm hoping that there's some there'll be a great manifestation that we can talk about.
You would have come from China, man.
Hey, you don't leave me hanging
at all.
From your lips to God's ears.
One time, you listen.
Yeah.
So do you play it safe sometimes?
Yeah, when it comes to parenting.
You have to.
When it comes to parenting, it's probably when I'm most conservative, and I've had to check myself, and a few adults have had to tell me, because you become hawkish. You just, you have to let the children be free. It's just tough, because once again, it's not. Music I learned on the job, but learning parenting on the job is a very different ball game. Music, at least, Charlie, I can feel. Parenting doesn't feel like you're allowed to, even though you will.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I take risk on that side. Where else am I risk averse? I wish I'd been a little more risk averse 10 years ago or 20 years ago. But that's a lie.
I was waiting for the punchline, man.
That's a lie. Sometimes you do have like moments of frustration where you know that, look, if you had done something a little risk averse, some kind of superficial rewards would have been like just more easily accessible. If you are in Ghana, for instance, having, no, I'm not a perfect person. I'm far from righteous. I'm super flawed. But having any kind of, a set of ethics or morals that you sometimes choose to say that, this one makes me sleep well at night. It's a risky thing now, especially when it comes to finances. It's risky because if you are kululu and then you decide that maybe this one I don't want to do, it's risky. It shouldn't be.
You become the odd one out.
Yeah, and I'm not claiming to be holier than that, but I'm just saying some choices that should exist in normalcy sometimes here is risky. If the policeman stops you, if you adhere to the idea of, I don't give bribe, it might be a risky proposition. If you are watching, please get to me and say giveaway.
Don't be small. Have you had any? Have you made any mistakes that became like a breakthrough in your career?
Wow, that's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. I haven't thought of it, but I do think, I don't know if mistakes, there have been a lot of accidents.
Okay.
I don't know about mistakes.
Which was the biggest accident that kind of went the right way, eventually?
I don't know, I can name one, but I can name at least 5.
Please.
Real quickly. I mean, first accidents, one of the accidents I can think of is going to going to the first place I lived in Minneapolis post college. I went to Craigslist, was looking for a place to stay. I saw a posting by a person called Ashanti Abdullah. I was like, oh, that's a black guy. And then come to find out, he worked corporate, but he was a DJ on the side. He managed an artist. We lived together. He was my first manager.
Boom.
From
Craigslist.
Yes.
Wow.
From Craigslist. We lived together.
Happy accident.
Happy accidents.
Yeah.
What do you call it? I mean, 2 years ago, I was not going to go. There was a trip to Mexico that I'd been invited by these guys called Africa Express. I wasn't really going to go. I think I had some other things I was occupied with. And went there and then connected with these guys, Ezra Collective, and I love them. It's one of my favorite bands. Ended up on their album, Happy Accidents.
What's Mexico like?
I love Mexico. I've been there 3 times now. I love Mexico. I played Mexico last year in October. I played Mexico in 2024. Mexico is lovely. Mexico City is fantastic, but we also went to, forgetting the name. We actually recorded a whole album in Mexico. I was on 2 tracks on it.
Okay.
It was a collective of us, So Mexico is lovely. It's green. Ghana needs to be more green. So whenever I go to places that are green, I love it. The food, Mexico City is probably top in terms of street food. I'm a street food guy, but like in terms of when I go to a city, I want to see the quality of the street food.
Yeah, man.
Mexico is top on the quality of
For
street food.
real? Ooh, spicy?
Man, the taco, yes.
Like Ghana.
The Ghana, man, it just feels good. I love Mexico. Shout out to you. I think people think of Mexico and they think of some negative things, but Mexico is definitely beautiful. Culture, food.
Nice.
Love Mexico.
Yeah. So that was the second happy accident.
Yeah. So to Mexico.
Good stuff.
Man. Okay, I'm coming through random ones. I remember I was recording Nowhere Cool. I was in Kuvi's studio. We were recording Time No Day or something, and then there was a guy called Drumroll that head of, and he was like, oh, he just left here, and then he called Drumroll, and Drumroll took a trotro back at the time.
That's it.
And then he ends up being somebody that I probably my projects from then to now has been on like 20 songs. That's a happy accident.
Big time.
So yeah, I mean. Kudzinai, a wonderful artist from Zimbabwe who lived in South Africa. A friend of mine was doing some work with him, and they were playing Immigrant Chronicles, and then it went to the last song, Soon Soon Prayer, and he played it on repeat, and he sent me this long message of, he's an incredible artist of something we could do together. He has this film called We Live in Silence that I could do a live soundtrack of, and didn't happen for maybe like 8 years, and then finally we did in Accra during something during some event at the pavilion in the Trade Fair Center. One of the most amazing things I've done in my life. There's a film playing up there, and then I was soundtracking it with a band below. Wow. Yes.
Live.
Called We Live. We Live in Silence. So I had monitors, so I'm seeing what's happening. I'm directing the band. I mean, incredible stuff. A one-on-one kind of thing. But an accident, because it's not like I met him. He was working with like one of your people playing a song, and you hear that, you're like, what's that? And that's how we connected. And he also ended up doing the cover for Nowhere Cool.
That's it. That live thing, did you have to do it one take?
Yeah. People are watching. It was a live performance. We live soundtrack and thing, and people were so drawn in by it. And of course we rehearsed, but it's not the same because it's live. So
the nerves are more.
You know what I mean? Everything is changing. It's not like it was rigid. It's everything's happening. Put together a nice band. Had Kafui also join us and other things. I tried to really put like a really cinematic musical experience together. Artistry.
Must have been awesome to be doing that thing and even being in the audience and watching that thing happening.
Man, I wish I was in the audience.
Out of body. Yeah. Okay. From then, let's talk a little bit about supporting younger artists. So, shout out to Kwati, because I love what you did with him, Out the Mud. What made you believe in him?
I think it's similar to a lot of younger or newer artists I meet. I mean, when I hear or see them, it's just, there's a spark. You know that, this is something interesting. Look, I I'm glad I'm able to identify good talent, but I'm most drawn to talent that's a bit left leaning, like a little different from what's going on.
Yeah.
When I met Walasi, he was different from what was going
Truly.
on. Sina, I was a judge on a Vodafone Icons, and I was like, she's the one, her voice, everything. So for me, yeah, it's that thing. If you love music and you love the art, you know what is sometimes special and different, and you're drawn to it, and then you're happy to basically, if the stars align, make a contribution in their journey, which also enriches you at the same time. I love doing it. It keeps me gingered, you understand? Quietin comes to the studio. I mean, he recorded that whole thing, so I think he put out a documentary about it. So look for that as well. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but guy, I've announced it. Sorry. Nice. But that's what I love, and right now in the current state that I am in, I love the artists that are a bit more, what's the word? They consider that 360 thing I was talking about. They consider and they know that the world they are in, they learn on the job. Quietin learned to film, video, whatever himself. The same way a lot of musicians learn to produce, whatever, etc. So I love the musicians who are like, yo, I'm gonna get into like photography, all these things, maybe out of necessity, etc. But they understand that this is not a simple game of, I don't want to call it a game, but this practice is not simply just write music, record it, and then blow, and then go stage, etc. There's more to it, Yeah.
What mistakes are younger artists making today?
What mistakes are younger artists making? Oh, I could not say, because it's a new era, and sometimes maybe they need to make mistakes. But if there's one thing that I think I could share in terms of the wisdom of the mistakes I made is, I think you have to make certain critical choices, or really good choices, about who you're working with, on the music, on the styling, etc. This, being an artist, is a collaborative process. It's so much more than people understand it to be. So make some choices and decisions around that. I've been fortunate to have, I think, stumbled across a lot of people, whether it was stylists or designers, etc. But I feel like I could have benefited more making some of those decisions earlier, like choices, like, okay, intentionally, instead of thinking about it and then waltzing in and then figure, So I half the time, or more than half the time, one made those intentional decisions, but sometimes I waited too long. Sometimes was concerns about money, etc., restricting you when you should think of the idea, let it stay in the front of your mind, and then seek out, understand. So that's what I would share in terms of some of the mistakes I made, in terms of that intentionality should be as much as possible,
Sure.
But I don't think they should worry about the mistakes. Maybe just don't have them recorded.
Ghana, we say every mistake is a new style.
When I say don't have them recorded, I'm saying like now, I'm like, the number of mistakes I made in my life.
Yeah,
nobody had a camera phone and
exactly
whatever. So I don't know. Like, just please protect yourself.
Protect yourself.
There's a lot going on.
It is so. Is hunger more important than talent?
Hunger more important than talent? Oh, okay. So, to make an artist, we're about to construct it. I don't want to say it's more important, but put it this way: if you put 10 artists in a room and they're all talented, between 7 and 10, I think that's where the drive, what you're referring to as a hunger.
We'll go for the hungry guy. The
drive,
one who wants it more.
Yeah.
The one who wants it more.
Yeah, because, so maybe if you're talented, let's say you were in high school, the talent maybe was enough, because everybody knows that maybe when it's entertainment, the guy will be out hailing you. Then you enter the bigger world where you're not just the only talent. So what's going to separate you from other people? But I don't want to overburden this thing of drive, because I think it needs to be almost a prerequisite. But these days it's become, some of it is being mistaken for just like a mechanical, thing. When artists, there's some sacred parts of arts that nurturing your talents is also just as important. This hunger thing is just so business driven. It's also short sighted because you can crash and burn so quickly in this thing. Same way you can pop up and blow up. I mean, I've been in this thing quite a long time. I've seen many exciting people come and go within 3 years, 5 years, and they're not dead. They're still alive, So let's not overburden Let's not put too much importance in this thing that's important, like the drive, the hunger. It's important, but the nurturing talent too, and over the years, when I say nurturing talent, I'm not really just saying like artist development, but you yourself, what you're doing, But yeah, the hunger thing they need, you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
If I meet somebody who's talented and after that meeting there isn't that thing of they want it, and that thing doesn't have to be loud, it doesn't have to be verbal, but you can tell somebody who wants it.
Could you see it in Vodafone icons? Could you see those who are hungry to win or to do well? You could see it as a judge.
Yeah, absolutely. But that was not at that stage. That wasn't that wasn't interesting enough for me. I was interested in the talent and who was the hunger in the talents, because in that arena, I don't know how you're operating outside of it, but,
I think I want to talk about visual storytelling now because your visuals feel almost cinematic. I'm just wondering, is M.anifest a filmmaker trapped in a rapper's body? Struggling to break out.
Wow, that's an excellent this thing. Not quite, but I've been fortunate enough to be around enough people who can bring ideas to fruition visually. You know what I mean? And also the idea of bootstrapping it as an independent artist just teaches you a lot. So sometimes you're forced to become a filmmaker in a rapper's body, but it's not something that you hate. You love. You learn about things. But I love visuals. I'm looking forward to going back to doing really excellent visuals. It's in the era of content, it's been very difficult really allocating a lot of resources to just, let's say, a music video. When we release a content game, so it becomes, these things become so some opportunity cost things, they happen.
And we're in a very visual age now.
We're in a very visual age, but not necessarily the idea of creating this elaborate visuals.
Yeah, it can be rough and ready and still work.
Rough and ready, but the challenge now is how good of a storyteller are you in a brief moment, so that after 5 seconds I don't scroll.
Don't scroll.
So it's also a new challenge, and I'm about to learn something. I'm always learning something new, and right now I embrace those challenges and
like micro movies, small.
Yeah. It's incredible. I mean, people are doing, and some of it's like people have story time on these things. Yeah. Some are long form, but a lot are short form. Somebody can tell you a story in 45 seconds about their trip to Jamaica that went off. Yeah. And then everybody's spellbound and it's viral as well.
Yeah, I have a friend like that. She's able to just summarize everything in such a short time. Yeah. It's a whole industry in Asia where they are doing mini movies like that you can watch on your status, on your WhatsApp status. And it's blowing up. People are investing billions into these forms. So it's a strange new world. Yeah,
it's evolving.
You may not remember this, but I saw this on your Facebook. And I think I heard it in one of your songs. We might look alike, but I ain't you.
Yeah, that's on the Out the Mud song.
Yes.
We might look alike, but I ain't you.
So it's an identity.
Guy in an into.
Ibizo. It's an identity thing. Before we came on the air, I was having a chat with my son Kelly and his friend Manuel. M.anifest. The way you spell your name. Why is it that? Why is it so?
Simply put, product differentiation. I mean, if I call myself just M.anifest, I mean, that would be like Googling hell. But also just being an artist, just normalcy is boring. I started doing that thing, and I love that now the artists, Charlie, when they're spelling their name, there's a V instead of an A, there's all these things. Because being an artist, once again, the creativity is 360. Why not? Like, why do you have to? Yeah, there's an artist called Black, and the B is a 6. So just simply M.anifest would have been incredibly boring. and also the searching for me would have been like, okay, plain manifest, biblical manifestations. So in between trying to be creative and also being clever about knowing that this world we're in separated since more.
It is so.
It became da.
Where did that also come from?
That actually came from, we were recording Live the Jump, myself and Kwabena Jones and One Love, and I think One Love said it because everybody was saying M. So it's like he channeled his inner Ghana and said Kubolo and or something. And I think that was the first time I was said on record, for instance. But it became like a thing.
Yeah, it works. Everybody knows who's ...
Yeah. I mean, but Charlie, my AKs, there are plenty. M. M. Diggity, ... Right now, there are a lot of people say Festo, so that one's...
Why did you choose Manifest? How did you get to choose Manifest? Was it chosen?
It came through the creative process. It took me a long time to find a name.
What were the options that you cancelled?
I don't remember a thing. Nothing was coming to me. So eventually when I stumbled, I think I was writing a rhyme and it just felt perfect. And when the thing feels perfect like that, don't question it. Don't ask why.
That's all.
Just take it. So I took it and I'm like, let me move. I'm running with it. Such a distant memory now, yeah.
Who still calls you Kwame?
Oh, a lot of people. My fans have nowadays, they are also over familiar. They call me Kwame Ahmed, like they know me. But they do, because me, to my foolishness, I say things like that in my music. So yeah, no, I mean, people still do.
Okay.
But actually, growing up, people most familiar with me call me Ahmed. Ahmed Tefe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that name is quite a symbolic name.
Yeah.
Almost like somebody who's replaced somebody who had come and gone.
Because I was born on the day my father's father was being buried.
Ah.
Yeah.
So they said you had come back.
I've come back.
You.
So the old ladies, my grandmother and the old ladies said no. They named me. Yeah. There's an interview with that's going to be in a documentary one day. Speaking to my grandmother where she's talking about this, and I was just, of course, I always knew the meaning of the name, but just hearing the context of, the funeral had happened and all that is.
On the day he was being buried.
So
wow.
I believe my father would have gone from the funeral grounds to the hospital. Yeah.
Wow, look at the contrast.
Yeah.
Life gone, life arrived.
It's,
It's a very symbolic name, huh?
Yeah, looking at me like, yo, do you understand the weight of the name?
I know you do. Yeah. It's how deep is, when identity for you, what does that mean?
There's more. Identity is a multifaceted one. I have my identity as Kwame Chikata, I have my identity as Manifest, I have my identity as I met people who are close to me. I have my identity as somebody who's African leaning, or they say Pan-Africanist. I have an identity as somebody who is more left leaning when it comes to politics, in terms of I believe in the betterment of the collective good rather than the chosen few. So identity is it's a multiplex of sorts. If once again we're doing buildings,
Yes.
it's a sort of a multiplex of sorts. So I do think maybe the most important part of it is what kind of work one is doing on self to not always reflect what people are giving back to you as what they see, but what you see inside of you. You understand?
You feel misunderstood sometimes by people kind of read you wrongly for whatever reason?
I'll say I'm a polarizing figure. Maybe it's become a family tradition. I'll say because the people who are supportive of me are very fierce about it, and the people who dislike me are also very fierce about it. And
why would they dislike you though?
Why?
Yeah.
I mean, they have their reasons, and it's arts and it's rivalries and it's sort of sometimes what you represent. Sometimes somebody's idea is that, you know, I am this elitist, arrogant, whatever. There's nothing to do with what they've actually seen, but maybe it's a perception, you know, based on your last name. What are you even doing in music? You could have been something, you know, are you coming to occupy this thing? Might be different things, but you can't begrudge people of their feelings.
No, those are their feelings.
So if the original question is, do I feel what's misunderstood? Was that the original question? I think, you know, being polarizing, it's okay, you know, and it's not if I stay true to my purpose, hopefully I'm able to give the world more than I take from it, and that's when my number is called. Yeah.
So, another of your posts. The status quo has been laying low.
Yes.
Let your wandering soul find its way back to self.
Ah, wow. These are I'm definitely anti-establishment, not in just some kind of rebel without a cause thing, but so the status quo is always not interesting to me. Once again, this is why we had a geeked out conversation about TikTok, which we didn't grow up on. Has been laying low. And what was the second part of it?
Let your wandering soul find its way back to self.
Satisfying, they come from God. I don't know.
That's part,
you know, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, aside from the fact that it is quite cringe trying to explain some of these things because it's almost like they should speak for themselves. Sometimes some of these things are just given to me, and I just have to honor it and put it in the world, you know, and see, you know, and it's just like the music. You don't know where it's coming from, but you're drawing from it, and then if it excites you too, you know. So,
always. What frustrates you most about society?
About society, currently, I have been fascinated, I guess, frustrated and fascinated about the fact that the people who most supportive of the wrongs or the oppressiveness of systems are the ones who are most disadvantaged, right? So, in America, for instance, when they say tax the rich, the people who don't have money are the ones most against that.
They tax the rich.
Yes.
Why you don't get money?
So in Ghana, if let's say, you know, the ordinary thing we all complain about, corruption and etc. You know, somebody will tell you, yeah, no, but the MP, you know, as I said, when it's funeral, they have to give. They are the most defensive of the things that actually hurt them the most. So it's fascinating to me at the moment. So, and I think there needs to be a mindset shift that comes from some of what you do, I do, and a lot of people do, you know. Bernard, a lot of us in different both art forms and professions probably need to contribute to some kind of cultural mindset shift in ourselves as well. Yeah. Because some of these things are such acute problems, because you really wonder why some of the most marginalized sort of are most supportive of the broken system,
which is hurting them
the most. You know, I understand. You get me?
I get you.
I mean, which is why party politics is based. That's what party politics is based on.
Yeah.
Who is the one on the street? Have you gone to a political rally before? You don't have to say. You don't have to say who. Where have you gone?
Yes.
Okay, but have you? Okay, I've never gone to one, and I've not followed anybody with placards. Exit. You understand? But, and I'm middle class. Point being, the people who are most weaponized for that kind of thing are mostly the people, you know, who are more marginalized or working classes and don't benefit the most from it.
No.
When after election or whatever kind of thing, all those 100,000 or 1,000 who are at these rallies, the trickle down only happens if the institutions are fixed. But for the most part, they would defend to the death their political party, even if it's causing problems.
Yeah.
So for me, you know, calling a frustration makes it seem like some personal angst, but I think it's a collective problem that we have that is worth looking at in terms of all of us making contributions in the mind shift. I try to do it in micro ways, but I think that's not enough. The macro aspect of it is how those who are fortunate enough to have the luxury of sometimes even the aerial view, because sometimes it's a luxury. If you're working hard trying to do all these things, not to say we don't work hard, but I mean, part of your success is you afford you a luxury of sometimes being able to have that aerial view, and it should come with the responsibility of maybe contributing to the mind shift. So I try. So for me, being an artist, the entertainment part of being an artist is secondary to me, because I think it will be entertaining. If it's dope, it's entertaining, but I can't be focused on like the bells and whistles. Oh, do I need to bring a bunch of twerkers on stage, etc. I'm more interested in things that will create shifts. And I'm quite glad that there's lots of people come to me and send messages that, when I was in SS, somebody recently, when they were doing their PhD, this album took me through those kind of things, because you're allowed to sit with it and it's allowed to inspire you, help you question whatever. It's not a class, it's art, but it's just like a beautiful painting. Sometimes it's not just really about this beauty, it's about how it emotionally triggers you and makes you think about things differently. So I'm hoping that I contribute my quota, and thank you for doing yours. I think what you're doing is magnificent, and is doing some of that, like mainstreaming some of these stories, for lack of a better term, in the new media format. Things that people don't know about, these stories, our history. I think we know more about world history than Ghanaian history.
100%. I agree.
So,
to quote you, if nowhere cool, how you go protect your peace?
Nowhere cool, but now here cool. Is that a question or is that
It's a question.
Oh, nowhere cool is that realization is not supposed to be debilitating or like crippling in any kind of way. It's supposed to sometimes empower you to think, instead of always running away from where the problem is, maybe fix home and then keep it, know what I mean? And also it's also kind of empowering in the sense that it reminds you that it's fine. Like this thing that you're facing, you go move. Nowhere cool. You get me? When I was 10 years, I couldn't wait to be an adult because I want my own money. By the time I was 30, I wish I was still 10.
Man.
So somebody was giving me money instead of you know what I mean? So nowhere cool.
At all. Maybe so. Just wondering, how do you stop like the fame and the noise from impacting your inner life? What do you do?
I don't think I live a life that is sort of congruent with fame things, I am sometimes painfully normal, if not all the time. Except I say sometimes because sometimes one has to assume being on a stage or sitting here with you, things that literally put spotlights on one. But I think I don't lead a life I don't have an entourage. I'm not fancy. I'm very simple. I'm not punching above my way. I live within my means.
No bodyguard.
You say?
No bodyguard.
No, unless I'm coming to one of your programs. No, so yeah, I mean, and once again, it's also a perspective thing. I have seen fame, but what
did it look like, man?
Like as what I'm saying. Obviously, I'm being facetious, but I've seen people come outside of hotels for 3 days waiting to see somebody. I've been on tour with people that have that kind of thing. Like, I'm not trying to be dismissive, but I'm just saying that also gives you perspective to be like, oh, this one they cool crowd. People see you, and for the most part, I think if depending on how you carry yourself, energy is reciprocated. I tend to walk or run certain places. People might just wave or they might do a double take. It's cool. I don't think my energy screams like,
look at me,
iced out, whatever. I mean, I come through fly, we do one thing, but
we're good.
But it's not. It's not. I don't think the energy is obnoxious or loud. So I'm managing just fine. I'm grateful.
How do you keep your peace?
Keep my peace. I order my steps well. A friend of mine asked me. I was going to see the recently Michael Jackson movie in some in one of the malls or something, and it was like, do you want to come or something? I said, no, I'm cool. I don't want to walk through a mall, right? I make decisions that whatever. I stay at home quite a lot. I spend time with people I love. I mean, in recent years, I think as one is getting older, branches with friends, those kind of things. I do the things that, I'm no longer here for unrequited love. I give love to the things that love me back.
That's it.
Yeah.
Action and reaction.
Yeah. Like, you're not going to find me in a club for 8 hours. Like, you understand? I give things that are given to me, at least at this moment in time. Yeah.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Actually, a lot of people hate themselves. I mean, is self-hate like a hidden epidemic?
An epidemic. I don't know if I could say that, but I do think there are a lot of things in our society that are signaling us to do things that point towards self-hate. I mean, whether it's bleaching and colorism, you are seeing a lot of things that are saying, hey, get on the welfare. All that means is that they are light-skinned.
Yeah.
So there are things that are signaling to people that maybe they should not be content with themselves or satisfied with what the wonderful things about themselves. So I don't know if I can call it an epidemic, because at the same time, I also see a lot of pushback against some of these things. So,
Okay.
But we do have a problem of what is being signaled, and now that everything is also within reach, every opinion is within reach. A lot. On Twitter, for instance, I mute a lot of things, or there has that thing of I'm not interested in this or whatever.
That's all. Then it goes off.
Because I am not interested in an experience where I have, just because things are viral, because somebody is being racist somewhere, somebody's being violent, that is always coming to whatever. It's Charlie, that garbage in you is going to affect your internal constituencies. Charlie, you understand?
We don't need it.
So I think, back to the protect your peace or whatever kind of thing. I just hope, especially for very young people, that at different moments in time, is the ability to not be flooded with so many things that are in the long run not healthy for you. Because like, you can't be a human being, for instance, that if you were online every day and seeing people getting knocked out, etc. I mean, it cannot not have an effect on you at some point.
All.
I know it's kind of hypocritical because I like true crime. So watching true crime, somebody would be like, hey, are you a psychopath? I think, I'll give room.
There's some countries that are limiting social media use at certain ages. Australia started it, and some other countries are following it. What's your view on that?
I don't know what they are doing, but I'm against it just in principle. Anything that smells of sort of constitutional infringements on people's liberties, and I'm not saying that in terms of I'm not no kind of absolutist in terms of this thing, but I think you don't have to make it law by making a culture. You understand? I think if, for instance, Keep Fit is a Saturday thing, you don't have to make it law, but maybe you increase the culture and people understand that health is wealth, and people are dropping off like flies, hypertension,
They'll do it
etc.
themselves.
Yeah, you create that. So I don't know if it needs to be a decree. I don't know that. Yeah, I don't agree with it, because all of these things too can be abused. Those institutions, when you give them that kind of power, then election time, what happens? You shut off the social media, then you can.
Good point. Let me throw your energy back at you. Okay. Complete this. Ghana is
a work in progress. or under construction.
Yeah. Still a work in progress. Yeah. Back to the building metaphor again. Yeah. Is the plumbing working?
Definitely not. Not every day.
What is
clogged.
working? What is clogged? What is
Is it?
working, man? What is working? What's working for Ghana, man?
Some people have stolen some of the pipes at some parts of the system. Other people, the one who was asked to do it, they didn't create a shield, so cars have gone over their holes here. Ghana, I mean, look, I listen to much more competent people like Bernard Avila and other people who are consistently engaging and questioning these things. And one thing I do agree with is just the idea of broken institutions. I'm not into this individual fix yourself, whatever. We've one good fortune of traveling, whether it's going to Rwanda, different places, that you see that when the institutions are working, individual deficiencies or unethical things can't create so much chaos. You understand?
You've been to Rwanda?
Yeah.
What was that like when you went for the first time?
For a Ghanaian and other Africans, I think it's always very impressive. The cleanliness, etc. Obviously, it's a complicated story because people have what they want to say about sort of the kind of governance there is, etc. But just to be fair and honest, just as a Ghanaian and other Africans seeing and working and from where they came from, a genocide and all of that, I have to say it is quite remarkable. But taking that aside, let's come back to how we treat our environment. As they say, the same people here, when you put them somewhere, they know go drop the pure water for the ground, etc. Because the institutions are working, it's the culture of. So, yeah, I think like there's a lot of conversation and writing about strengthening our institutions, our judiciary. There's so many problematic institutions here. So individuals then are allowed to run amok.
It's interesting you're talking about Rwanda because I was in a room with with the ambassador of Rwanda to Ghana, and she was commenting. She made the point that she smiled and said, "Listen, people are impressed with the way their city is planned, the whole country is planned, and everything, and everything's working. But they actually took inspiration from Ghana. Took some of our plans and."
Ghana in the 60s?
Yes. Old time Ghana, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ghana
that had more trees?
Ghana that had more trees, that was greener.
Okay.
And more organized. Yes.
Yeah.
I think their president was highly inspired by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Oh, yeah.
And basically,
Nkrumah is probably an inspiration for almost, for every African after them. I was going to say, I haven't met an anti-Nkrumah, and I remembered I was in Ghana. That's not true.
They did plenty.
In Ghana.
It'd be true.
Wow, I worked myself into that one.
You can walk out.
No Michael Jackson will slide.
At all.
Nkrumah, we're standing 10 toes for you.
One time, 100%. I was pretty surprised to find out that you're an Arsenal fan.
Oh, yeah. Shout outs.
Actually, they paid them in the sweet week.
They sweet too much.
What does it mean to win this, for the team to win the league after how many years? 22 years?
Yeah, being in the wilderness this long.
I
actually had to, I had to apologize to Arsenal on Twitter because I had to quote one of my tweets from 2024 where I said being an Arsenal fan is like something about Moses. Basically, you go see the promised land.
Never go get there.
Yeah, I was frustrated after one of those almost winning things, so I had to apologize. Now it feels good, man. I mean, I saw some guy being in London on the socials on TikTok who had done like some Arsenal Agbada. I said, you know what? I need that. So that, for instance, instead of, you wouldn't have to ask me, I would have been wearing that Agbada. Football is fun for that reason. I mean, it's just like,
Is supporting Arsenal character building?
No, it's shared grief. But right now, it's shared joy.
It's shared joy now.
Don't bring PTSD from the past.
No.
Right now, we did
talk.
Are you an Arsenal fan?
No, I'm not.
That's why you're saying this. You see, these are subtle shots. I should have known.
That was my second team. I didn't want Manchester City to win. I didn't want Manchester City to win.
So but I should have seen subtle shots. I should have agreed to anything you said. The ops.
I heard somebody saying that you guys are celebrating like you won the World Cup, man.
Listen, even a few weeks ago when Man City won that match, but hey,
The butlers.
people were like, I think people love. I thought people hated Man U more, but I think they hate Arsenal more.
They hate Arsenal more.
I think so. It just the pain them say we're a beautiful team. Like, the football did nice them.
With all the throw-ins and things. And the free kicks.
I mean, shout out to Henry
Yeah,
and
they
all
did
them,
well.
all them people. Yeah,
This is the year.
Yeah. I've been envious of Barca fans though, because they also play nice football when they win.
When they win.
But we are winning. We're on it.
It be so.
Champions League.
Which is more stressful, releasing an album or supporting Arsenal before this PL. Caveat.
Supporting us. Releasing an album is within my realm of understanding how this thing. But Arsenal, I love you though. Why are you running down these grievances?
No.
list?
Well, we're happy for you, but
No, you're
we have
running
to
that
compare.
grievances list. We are celebrating. Stop running down a grievances
We have to compare the
list.
extreme joy to the
Nah,
extreme
guy.
sadness. You
Nah,
know.
guy.
You know.
You see, all the musicians I know that Arsenal fans are fantastic musicians.
Yeah.
So if you want to be
Name
fantastic,
name them for me.
oh, a lot of them know they here.
I mean, I just the guy say one of my nephews had never seen Arsenal win a Premier League before.
'Cause
He's about 16, 17 now. Never. This is the first time.
What? So what?
Now he's won.
This will be in his mind now.
Forever.
Yeah. Well, you wait till the Champions League to drop.
I mean-
People say PS what? PSA. No, I don't even know. No,
PSR.
G. No,
PSR.
PSA. Public survey announcement. We don't know.
Or prostate something testament.
There's
or
no
something.
G in them. There are no G in them.
No G in them, man.
No G in them.
Does the fandom in hip hop resemble fandom in football?
Well, I won't just limit it to hip hop because we're also, because hip hop is such mainstream music in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the general thing. Does it resemble football?
With the
I
level
think
of
so.
support, Level of support.
I think so, but I think the difference is that I do think football feels more like banter. Sometimes with hip hop especially, people start hating each other.
Yeah.
It's wild. I don't think even the artists they support hate each other like that.
Yeah.
But because the difference is, football as a craft is lovely. We love to watch it. They finish the players, they shake hands.
Yes.
When artists are either in rivalries or represent certain things, it's very different things. If an artist is like, oh, my motif is I'm indie, forget all that pop stuff, we are whatever, is representing a way of life, it could be skateboarding, etc. So everybody who identifies with that defends it fiercely and feels like somebody else is the ops. So I think it gets deeper with music because people see themselves like what they are representing, If a person who is, in my time, a lot of university students were, especially years ago, were the ones who were my biggest demographic because they spend a lot of time argue with their friends, etc., and could spend a lot of time in music. If, for instance, they find validation in the fact that, what I do makes them seen because it's like, yo, it's cool to be smart. So then maybe there will be fierce supporters. Somebody too may be like, way too much. Well, because for somebody's mind, art should be just entertainment. Why are you doing this plenty? So they too, they might feel completely oppositional to that.
So.
But then it's fine. It's been like that in the literary world too, and because we are just a combination of all that.
Yeah.
We are authors, we are composers, we are a combination of these things. So people, that kind of fierce thing, I understand it. It's not casual for people. Football is not casual for people, but I mean, your football team doesn't determine which is your life decisions.
No.
But a lot of people, the thing that grew them, whether it was Bob Marley's Redemptions, these things are part of their makeup and how they see themselves.
Soundtrack to their lives.
Yeah, like look at Lumba Person, like
It's a big deal.
World Cup for people. His words. Yesterday, I was passing by my mom's house in the night, and then a friend of mine was around there. It was just coincidence. And he said, "Oh, somebody we knew had passed, right? And so as I'm leaving my mom's house, but so they were at a bar, like maybe, I don't know, another street over. I'm hearing Kofi Kinata's "It Is Finished," and I could hear the boys sing it. So it's almost like they've taken a walk up in this moment that makes sense of a passing. It is finished.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I never even heard this song in that context till this moment.
That's it.
So music is powerful. I think it was Fela that said, "I don't play with music or you die."
Simple.
It's powerful.
Simple.
You know, I mean, things like music and film. Look at what the Nazis did with film and you know, the Third Reich, and so music is powerful. That's why. Oh man, I sound like a broken record. Apologies. That's why I think for a person like me, it can't simply be just casual entertainment. It's like, oh, people take this World Cup. You know, they might listen to Whitney Houston and Adele for their hearts break, like to solve a very important life crisis. So what business do I have as somebody who sort of is so curious about the world, has rich experiences in the world in terms of engagement with the world, to be making cosmetic or music that doesn't
throw
mean
away
anything?
fast food music? No.
No, I want things that are transformative, that me myself I would love to hear. The same way the same way when I was listening to Nas, Biggie, Suicide Thoughts, Nas, I Gave You Power, you know, embodying a gun. You know, he does a whole song with him in the first person position as a gun. You know, every Mother's Day, they say we should retire, but we want Tupac's Dear Mama.
It's there, man. Forever. Timeless.
So yeah, all this is just remarkable. It's in front of it's all this remarkable, rich history in music, and I don't want my contribution to be, "Hey baby," or "Wind Your Waist." It's not going to be mine. I'm sorry. It's nothing against it. And when I'm at the party, I probably don't want to listen to M.anifest or Zimandias. But you know, how much of my life is party versus how much of my life is other things? I don't know. But you know, New Road and Guava Trees out in stores now. It's good for every part of your life. There's actually bangers you can listen to without it's not about philosophy. I mean, that's why once again I brought up Kinata. I like that.
Yeah.
He's found this clever balance of sort of meaningful, but he has a good sense of humor. But it's also because of what's the style that he's chosen.
Exactly.
You know? So yeah, shout out to him. Everybody, people are doing phenomenal stuff in their own different pockets, and mine is to do mine how it's supposed to be done, not how it's supposed to be, how I choose to have it done, and hopefully it has this impact. Yeah.
Now let's take it all the way back. Way back.
Wow.
To the very beginning.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
What were some of your earliest memories
Of
life?
life.
Yeah, man.
Some of my earliest memories. I remember there's one distinct memory that, you know, so I have a family member. He's like my brother. He's not really cousin because we grew up in the same house. His name was Kofi. Kofi Asante. And one of my early memories was, I thought I would be calling him, but apparently I didn't know how to say F at that very young age.
Okay.
So I used to say Kochi, Kochi. But in my head, it's Kofi.
Yeah.
So one day when I finally said Kofi, my mother heard it and said, "Hey, brah. So what's the name? Mr. Kofi." She called everybody.
He's got it.
As far as I knew, I was saying it the right way. But one of my earliest memories was this moment where my mom had me say this name that I thought I'd been saying right several times, and her face. Like, wow, my son finally can say F.
That's it, man.
I'm so fond of that memory because it's so distinct in my mind. I remember also my grandfather returning from Abuchi to come and settle in Ghana, Professor Nketia, that is, and Konimo coming to the house before Prof arrived with a bag, took out two things from the bag, a stool and his guitar, sat there, played a song and welcomed him back.
Nice.
And it was so magical for me. I remember that as well. Yeah, I have so many fond memories. I have very fond memories of my Uncle Kojo, conversations with him when I was young. A lot of Christmases were with Uncle Kojo and my cousins, Mandla and Kojo. I have great childhood memories. I have memories of being one of the few kids in the neighborhood having a Mine was not a BMX. I think it was a rally, but it was
The high one.
yeah, but it was BMX like adjacent, but the brand was different. So there was these twins, and I remember riding around the neighborhood when they were constructing the road. They would have put out these mounts or whatever, and then we would go on it because it's like we thought they were doing like dirt bikes, dangerous stuff. And then I remember, some adults, or they seemed like adults, I was younger, chasing me, trying to get my bike. Charlie Madina for more.
You invaded them?
Yeah, of course. You start riding fast, giddy, I remember, this is the last memory I'll share. And, because I remember there was a kid younger than me. I can't remember his name. I used to remember his name for the longest time. But he had flown this kite. He had created a kite. Nowadays, do they still make kites?
I'm sure they do. I haven't seen anybody making kites.
I forgot. What was it? Something. I forgot. What did we call it? Yeah, I remember right.
What is it?
Asongoli. Yeah.
Asongoli.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. It's so long, but I remember this kid made one. They'll put the thread that they used for
the hair.
For the hair.
Yes, for braiding the hair.
He did this thing, and it was so high up above. And it was a magnificent thing. Yeah. Then one of my friends dared me to go and cut it. And I went to do it. And then this boy chased me. He was younger than me. I ran out. So I took an escape route.
Why you go cut this guy?
Because mischief. I don't, it was
felt good at that time.
Yeah. The thing was so high. Yeah. The guy had worked on this thing. I cut the thing. So I thought he was younger, but the guy was crying and chasing me. Yeah. I apologize for your trauma. But this is the punchline of the story is that I thought, obviously I was maybe 3 years or whatever older, but those days when you're young, 3 years feels like you're much older, so you're probably a little bigger. So I took another route to get to my house or whatever kind of thing. So I thought I was going to lose him. I got to the house, all I know is that like 30 seconds later, I hear a cry and somebody else.
I follow you. GPS, man.
I was hiding somewhere in the room in the house. I think somebody in the house must have given him some money to go and buy some of the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a terrible thing to do. But whoever told me to do that too, Madina boy, force.
You never force.
So instead of me taking accountability,
yes,
I'm giving it somebody.
That's all. What did Madina teach you about people?
I think a lot. I know a lot. I know that it taught me a lot about people because especially in that era that I grew up in, I think it was a very mixed community in terms of, you're hearing Hausa, there's a lot of Eve around New Road to, you're hearing Chi. Some of us live in houses painted, others 2 hours away with uncompleted buildings. So you're learning sort of that even within that same environment, different experiences, shared experience. We all didn't have water flowing, so sometimes
whether your house they paint them or not, you don't get water. Whether your house is painted or not, water doesn't flow. The great equalizer.
Yeah, the great terrible one. And as a child, joining them to go and fetch water was such excitement for me, not realizing that for somebody it was probably like a chore all the time. But if you need Charlie kiddie time, so you learn quickly about some of these things, socioeconomics and sort of disparities, etc. You don't learn them in this kind of intellectual way I'm speaking, obviously, but you learn how to talk to people, different kinds of people. You learn how to, I think it was one of the first places I learned how to stand up for myself, because certain things happened in which I did not like the experience of how I felt, So yeah, I do think I learned a lot about people, and I'm grateful for that. And I hope that Ghana, reverse this idea of these mixed, less estates, more neighborhoods that are mixed, more compound houses even, why apartments? Maybe, learning and knowing about people and how to deal with people teaches you so much on how to function in the world. You know what I mean? So that even as growing up middle class, you still you're just in the know of so much more than I would have been if I grew up in some estates.
Gated community or something.
Yeah, you understand. And so I don't know. I'm very grateful for it. Yeah.
Was it a burden to be the son of Chachu Chikata, Mr. Chachu Chikata, when you were growing up?
A burden would not be the word, but don't forget that my grandfather is also Professor.
Yes, so I'll get there.
So, I mean, it's not a burden, but it's a very tasking thing to do in terms of people's curiosities, right? Especially at a very young age. People want to ask you a zillion questions.
Like what? What were some of the interesting questions that they will ask you? Once they know that your father is...
None of them were interested. Yeah, because what they think is interesting, probably another 1,000 people have asked me already.
Asked you already. What was the most common question you would get?
What? I don't even remember because I grew very early. I learned how to thwart.
Mm-hmm. Divert it.
Oh, I was too good at it, to the point where even sometimes, if I go somewhere, depending on how I felt, what's your name? You know how adults were. Yeah. Kwame what? I'm at the pay, and I'll keep it like that. I don't add a chikata.
Don't add a chikata.
Because I'm in this situation, maybe you are just going to do too much, and maybe your allegiances to somewhere. There were adults who treated me like terribly as a child because clearly there were some underpinnings of what they felt was some political thing, and it's like crazy to me because I'm like, wow,
And you felt it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel when they treated you like that?
Oh, like I said, Charlie Madina boy, a hard guy. No, but obviously I'm being funny, but I think you just learn about people a bit quicker, and then you disconnect from some of these, and you notice people. And I think, if anything, at some point, you kind of feel sorry for people who sort of have to harbor these things, especially like being a child and having that much empathy, like learning that somebody else is just a bit like something they happen in their inside. You understand? So and
be your problem.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't remember the very earliest memories, but I just remember learning to deal with older people, navigating around that. Yeah. Ghana is and it's let's not make it just a me problem. Ghana has been like that. It will be too dear when they hear your name. Hey, so whose son are you? It's not. I don't want to create this thing that it's like some special whatever. But clearly, obviously, my father is more famous than me in this country.
Let's go to America.
I don't know, maybe in the world actually, but I don't think any of us care about what this thing called fame. But
what was it like relating with him when you were young?
I feel like we definitely spoke more by the time I was like 11, 12.
Okay.
Because I became more of a thinking person. So, I remember being in school, for instance, and you come and visit and in boarding school, and you stay there for quite a long time and past visiting hours, and then maybe he doesn't know, the security didn't know how to come and sack him.
They knew who he was, right?
So we were talking plenty, but I remember that was very hilarious. They didn't know how to come and sack him. What do you come and say?
No, what do you say exactly?
But he's so unassuming. I don't think he realized it, but yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, I think from a certain age there was definitely a lot more. I mean, I don't want to say African fathers, but I think when you're a child, mothers are who kind of speak to the child more in the most whatever. Fathers is very much, the father is almost a regal figure in your life, you know what I mean?
Almost godlike even sometimes.
Yeah, kind of thing. I do think my father has always had a sort of a gentle demeanor and composure, so it wasn't any kind of intimidation, but he's kind of a giant of a figure, so even as a child, I think you get to realize that very quickly.
Yeah. What kind of convos do you have with him now?
Oh, and it's between us, but we do have a lot of convos.
Is he more like a friend now, or is still
a friend in this African society? No. Of course, but I can't. That's not respectful. Like, he's a father, but my father has a lot of breadth and vastness in terms of what he's interested in and can speak about. So, it's I feel like he sends me YouTube of music, gospel music. I should have said that. Okay.
A lot of kids, sons, kind of look up to their fathers when especially when they're very young. Did you ever, at any time, think that maybe I might want to be a lawyer like my dad? It's never crossed your mind?
Maybe I'm thinking that now. My mother was a lawyer. My mother's brother was a lawyer. On my father's side, I think at least 4 of them. He and his siblings.
Yeah.
I would have to count Auntie Do. Anyway, so beyond him was the fact that there was a lot of legal representation of that. So, but at the same time, I also, lived with my grandfather, who's an ethnomusicologist and a composer, and I also live with my mother, who also is one of the bravest people I know, because how do you leave law and become pastor? Yeah, it's wild. I wouldn't do it.
Did she tell you why she did it?
I mean, yeah, I think I would let her tell her own story, but in summary, I think, it's just found more of a purpose in that. You know what I mean?
And she had been practicing for a while?
Yeah. She had been practicing for a while. Yeah. For a long time.
Your mother?
I remember my mother as a lawyer. I remember her going to FIDA. FIDA was what? Something law.
Yeah.
I remember. Even when she transitioned to becoming a pastor, she still has 1 or 2 people, one of her clients, who would still come to her for certain things consistently. Yeah. Even though she's like, I'm not. But they had, what do you call it? They had such you become friends with some of these people. So I guess with the initial question, so I've had many wonderful examples from my grandfather, my father, of professionals. The whole idea is, I think, finding your purpose, being good at something or things. And I mean, I think a lot of them, my uncle Kojo, I didn't even bring up, who's has probably the most interesting person I've ever met in life in terms of their life story and how they've done. Yes. So, yeah, I guess there are many wonderful examples that taught me that whatever you do, do it to the
highest level,
and also that anything is possible.
Yeah. I mean, your Mother's Day posts on your mother were very reflective. I mean, if you look at yourself internally, what emotional qualities do you think you got from your mom?
My mom has taught me a lot of empathy. She's taught me a lot of empathy. I think a lot of my joy is similar to my mother's. I think we our joyful traits are similar. Our birthdays are 6 days apart even.
Okay.
She's November 14th, I'm the 20th. I think my creative side is probably from my mother too. My mother, when she was in high school and other things, I heard she used to be the person who was drumming and doing it, not on the wall. She's hip, She uses language like vibes and all these things.
Nice.
But yeah, so no, I think. Yeah, but I mean, I think the greatest thing that my mother still teaches me and has shown me, and maybe has probably given me as a trait, is just empathy. And she has this deep well of empathy for people and humans, and it mitigates for sometimes my inability to suffer fools.
That's directly from your mother, right? What did you get from your father?
Maybe that inability. I'm kidding. I don't know. It's not for me to say, but I do think I don't think he's rigid in his thinking. I think he's very progressive in his thinking. And also, it's not. I wouldn't just say anything and he would agree. I mean, he would actually, sometimes, for instance, people mirror each other in conversations.
Yes.
And so I might say, this thing cry, it's not nice. Cry. You'll be like, yes. He's not those go along people. I mean, so I think, I am not I think my grandmother or my mother or other people can say what I get, but I can only say what I've learned from them. You know what I mean? I'm not a geneticist, so I can't get into that part of it. But you know, and I mean, and then the level of thoroughness, you know.
Okay. Attention to detail.
Yeah. I mean, we've witnessed some of that live on TV, so I don't have to say
Go for the
so
detail.
much. I mean, and also maybe the similarity is that with both parents is also, I think they have they're very generous with a lot of people, especially with their time and with their whatever, you know. A lot of people pop up on my dad, and he's
He has time for them.
yeah. In this my young age, I don't. If you pull up at my house, Charlie, I'll tell the caretaker that Charlie, I can't. You understand? So there's a lot one learns from sort of, and maybe humility is kind of a cliche word to whatever. It's not humility. There's this sort of, there's a more of a humanity, not humility.
Dealing with people as people.
Yeah, exactly. And according them with respect, remembering their name, whether they were the person that was cleaning there or whatever, etc. According people with equal respect, not, you know, there's no respecter of you because materialism, etc. Yeah, so they do. I think I learned that from both of them. And I've not reached any level, and I mean maybe this is why I needed to work on myself a lot more in terms of just being able to, you know, in small ways, you know, especially with young artists, I veil myself, etc. But I think the level with which, like, you know, my mother, you know, she's a pastor. You can imagine she pastors many people, and you know, my father, the level with which the bar high. So I go try, but I can't promise anything.
another setter of a high bar. What's your grandfather, Professor?
Oh my God!
What did you learn from him?
Oh my goodness! Now the music genes will come from there.
I've claimed it. Yeah, you claimed it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Now, you know, he passed, I believe, at 97. I think the last book he released, he was 95.
Still publishing at that age.
Yeah. I would see him every day in the study. You know, I mean, he had a disciplined routine. Take a nap every day.
Every day?
Every day he took a nap. But that man like this fufu. Like, I think like 5 times a week, lunch fufu. Like, and then when he's watching football, I loved watching him watch football. Like, he would, you know, his legs would kick. But yeah, the discipline, the rigor in his work. I mean, the extent of work he's done is baffling. You know, by the time I was post-college is when I even realized in the early days his work in poetry, his work in linguistics. Before you get it, he's like to call him a colossus. Yeah, anything else would be uncivilized to call him. It would be too little. Yeah, so I learned that, but once again, like I said, maybe another time theme is he also made time for a lot of people. Mentored a lot of people. You know, people like Konimo always speak fondly of him. Jose Concho, these guys. Everywhere I go in the world, you know, reading All God's Children Need Traveling Shoes. Do you know that book, Maya Angelou? And seeing that my grandfather was the one who gave Maya Angelou her first job in Ghana. Like, all these things, I'm like, this man what has he not done?
Yeah.
You know, and I think one of my greatest joys was that even though it wasn't well planned, that I came back to Ghana in time to spend like his last leg of his life with him, and I maybe out of all the grandchildren probably had the most time with him. So I was in the house for a while too, and then before leaving there, and then and also obviously being in music, his interest in what I do was also like
recreate that scene. I mean, if you're sitting with him, what are you guys doing? What are you doing? What are you discussing?
Oh, many things, but usually he's not discussing.
Well, he's asking questions.
Even though a lot of it would have begun from me asking questions, the fascination became more about what I was doing.
Okay.
Oh, okay, studio, Pachomimbo, we in chill. Yes, and then you tell me about how it might be certain Malian voices, you know, kind of thing, and then you ask questions, and then, you know, I think I wrote on one of my social things that, for instance, the song Invisible from Nowhere Cool, I think he's responsible for, at least in the sonic construction, because he challenged me to be like, we are polyrhythmic, but the hip hop seems to be a lot of 4/4. Why don't you
change the rhythm?
So the next day I went to the studio, I said, let's do the thing starting from ka 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 ka. So the Invisible is built on that, and I came to play for him. But yeah, he was also generous with his stories. Yeah, man, I'm fortunate. So that's why my contributions, they have to do plenty. Hey, if I was a different person, I'd feel very burdened, as you said. Yeah. But I think it's just, this is what a rich existence looks like.
Where were you when he passed?
Oh man, I'd gone to London briefly. I'd gone to London, and I think I had to come back. I'd gone to London. I was in London. I was a little bent out, so I went to London, and yeah. But he lived a long, fruitful life. So it's sad when somebody leaves because they're a fixture in your life.
Yeah,
but, it's wonderful just to see the life that they've led and to appreciate that, to see that this legacy is going to be, not in terms of immortalizing the person, but just their contributions is just going to be there for eons.
Yes.
Yeah.
For you, when you look back on his life and your interactions with him, where do you think the most impact came from?
My interactions with him?
Yes.
I think the first thing is the fact that he was just such a fixture in my life since I could remember. Even when they lived in Pittsburgh, I remember one of my fondest early memories was my mom and I going to visit them there. It's my first time in America or abroad, so he was just a constant fixture in my life of this sort of colossus, as you call him, but he's grandpa.
Yeah.
And it was a different time. I mean, you just learn different kind of values. That him being prof was more important than any kind of financial position in life. His contribution to society was valued. Nowadays, if you know money forgets.
Some way be.
Yeah, beyond some way be. So having that example up close and personal, and his work mattered to him. He didn't carry himself with any kind of pomposity. Hey, is that word?
Yes, pomposity.
I don't think I've used it since primary school or something.
Academic pomposity.
That sounds like a very Ghanaian word. I don't think I've heard it anywhere else.
I began up there.
Hey, Charlie, we two are different. I didn't even know.
Yeah,
it just came out of my lips.
Simple, great. I remember his African print shirts.
Yeah. Quite simple. With his motorway. Yeah, he was measured, and he loved his children, his grandchildren. He had traveled the world, written books, been a composer. Yeah, he lived a remarkable life, and it never stopped. It also goes to it showed me an example of living a life that's not about getting a job and then living. Everything he did. It was part of what he wanted to do.
So there's no retirement or anything. You work.
Man,
you do your work.
That man said he had retired. I don't know what he was talking about. Until whatever, he was still going every Tuesday to the office in Legon.
That's it.
And to the International Center for African Music and Dance. But it also helps you live long. You learn that. Like I said, he was disciplined about his siestas. He had an engaged mind. He was consistently still engaging in reading, writing, book writing, talking to people. He made time for a lot of people, whether you're a documentary filmmaker or you're a TV station or a broadcaster. I mean, he was so generous. I don't know who actually pursued an interview with him that doesn't have it. Maybe one or two people, and that would have been my fault because I was supposed to make the connection.
Yeah.
I have one person in mind. I'm so apologetic for it because he passed before that happened. Yeah.
Is it true that you used to enter his archive to look for empty cassettes?
Oh my God!
To record
this story,
your
I should never have told it to.
Is it true?
It's very true. He had cassette tapes And you know, those days, that's what we used to record. So I'd be looking for empty tapes. Sometimes I'd find some. Sometimes I'll find not so empty tapes, and then decide what's not important and record over it.
You didn't record over your grandpa material.
This field work that has been probably taken from some corner in Tanzania or something. The world has lost something, but I think I am giving to the world. I'm going to make up for any cassette I recorded over.
Did he ever get angry with you for recording over his
I don't think he
stuff?
would have known.
No?
I was careful though, but you see, this is the part that I told a story and you guys are missing it. You're just looking at my treachery in terms of what I erased. But invariably, I had to listen to a lot to determine which one even has that this one does it have even 20 minutes. So I was
osmosis. Everything they enter your brain.
You understand?
Yeah.
That was the point of the story.
It's education.
Education. I didn't know.
Education via the cassettes.
Yes, I didn't listen to them out of curiosity. It's out of curiosity of which one has empty space.
Why you soak the music?
I just soak the music.
So, do you see yourself as, I don't know, he's a colossus. We've agreed on that. Everybody knows. In a way, do you think you are, maybe even in a little way, extending his legacy through music?
I hope one day. I don't think I've scratched the surface of anything. And actually, I hope one day that I can maybe take a major chunk of time out of my own creative pursuits to, in all earnestness, kind of look at what extending his legacy not actually means. There are people who are doing that. There's a center there, the archive center. You know, he donated a bunch of stuff, but you know, a lot of his work is not necessarily out there in the popular arena, or even in some cultural spaces. This is in a lot of intellectual spaces, but I think he was way more interested in things beyond academia. I mean, he often told a story about how if Mahmoud told him that, hey, if you don't copy me, you go to your people, and he went to his, as he called it, his non-literate grandmother and learned everything from her. So the understanding that the knowledge exists outside of academia, and so whatever is produced outside of it, so should be able to exist out of academia. So maybe, not maybe, I mean quite possibly, you know, God willing, I'll have the bandwidth to be able to actually work on something like that, because I guess of all the grandchildren, I'm probably the closest in terms of what he did. Even though I do have a niece who plays and composes.
Nice.
Yeah, she must be 16 now, or about to be. So who knows? You know, I need to spend more. She's actually Kafui like you.
Oh, okay. Yes, she continue praising. Listen, let's talk about the school years.
Yeah.
SOS Herman Minor.
Yeah.
What kind of student were you?
You know, SOS. That's especially for the time. That's a funny question to ask, because literally what SOS did was plugged all the best students from every school. So everybody there was
a shark.
So you had to learn very early that the difference between first and last could be like a few points. So yeah, it did fine. I mean, I was in university primary school before that. So I think, how many people from university primary went to SOS at the time in my year? Maybe 4 or 5 of us. Or
by that time, were you already creating music?
SOS was when I was in my first rap group.
What was it called?
Rebel Camp.
Rebel Camp.
Yeah, the group existed before I got there, but they initiated me into it. You know,
Rebel Camp.
There's nothing rebellious about us.
Nothing?
It was in the mind. We were rebellious and they should have sacked us.
And where were you performing?
Entertainment.
That's it.
I became entertainment prefect at the point, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I always had both a curiosity and an ability that was yet unnurtured around things that were artistic. You know, I had to grow up to embrace and nurture it, and to see that it's possible that my life could veer that way.
Yeah. Just curious. I know on your mother's side is musical and artistic, but your dad, is he like a music person?
No.
Or enjoys music?
But I do remember him maybe telling me that I think there was a filmmaking interest at some early point in his life.
Okay.
But mean, I don't think I'm making that up. But my dad, my aunties, my uncles, especially one or two, they are all like avid. Is the word avid? They're all keen admirers of art and know a lot of arts, music, books.
Yeah.
So I think there's art on that side of the family, just in terms of an appreciation of it and an interaction with it. I'm sure some of them probably know people like you. They know understand. So they've had, good taste.
Yeah.
You know.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Were you a boarder at SOS?
Yeah, there was no other option.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what the SOS looks like now, but I just know that it's very expensive now.
Best time there. What was your best time?
My best time
moments, yeah.
in SOS?
Yeah.
I had a lot, but I think it was a preview into what my life would be, because SOS was the first time in which I was around other international people, because there were kids from other countries, Gambia, Ethiopia, etc. So I think that was the first preview into like kind of a multi-cultural kind of environment. It was lovely, you know that the South Africans do gumboots. You start learning, you start, you start. Well, that was college, but anyway, all that to say, SOS was probably a preview of a microcosm of what,
like a trailer.
Yeah, a trailer of what it was going to be. Yeah. So that I loved. A lot of my lifelong friends probably come from there, and university primary, more in college as well. I don't know when we started saying no new friends, but probably after.
By then you were not M.anifest.
No.
So Rebel Camp, what was your name then?
You didn't have to have a name because you're in a group.
You're in the camp, in the group.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you're in the camp. The camp is a camp.
So
It's not Bujumbura, but it's a camp.
it's a camp, man. And then you finish and you end up in America.
Yeah, Calister College, yeah.
Minneapolis.
Yeah, well, it's in St. Paul, but it's Twin Cities, so Minneapolis, St. Paul, yeah.
Consciously wanted to go there?
No, I didn't try. You see, it's good to be in a good institution. By the time I got to SOS, I knew that I wasn't necessarily interested in like a traditional path, but I didn't have the courage yet. But one thing, SOS kind of equipped us to be able to apply to colleges, get scholarships.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was an accident. I had an older cousin who also went to SOS, who went to McAllister, so it was on the radar. Kofi Annan went there, so I think they had really started marketing the international thing about McAllister. I like the idea of a liberal arts college, because the idea of going to a school that just I'm focused on whatever it is. So I was sold. I definitely, at the time I was in SOS, I was sold on the idea of a liberal arts college for sure. And
so you wrote SATs and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And then you go to America?
Yeah. Got a scholarship to McAllister, went to America.
Was that your first time in America?
No.
It wasn't?
No, it wasn't. It was, as far as I remember, it was probably my third. I remember going to America first time when I was maybe quite young. I don't know if it was 4 or something, but my grandfather was a professor at the University of Pittsburgh. So and then I remember the second time I was probably a teenager or early something or something.
Did you experience any culture shock as a student?
Yes, it wasn't as shock, but I guess you would call
Culture
it
difference.
Yeah, just so many things.
Like what?
I just remembered my first week there, even before school started. I was going to ahead of the Mall of America, which was big, so I wanted to go and do some shopping before school, buy some essentials.
Yeah, man.
So I was waiting for the bus, I think my cousin then told me where the bus was or whatever, so I was waiting for the bus. And I think I had a $20 bill, and I put it in the thing, the bus thing, the slot.
Yes. For payment?
Yes. Only to find out I didn't give change. So usually it was like $1.25.
And you give them 20?
But they didn't give change. And I didn't know. Hey, I almost cried. Can you imagine at that stage?
Shopping I bought?
What?
The shopping I bought?
No, I bought $20. You go cry small, but at least you probably have another $80 or $100 to do something.
Yeah.
But can you imagine that?
No change?
I mean, Yeah, here, Charlie, the mates go handle
You
you.
go handle you. Oh,
In crisis, I felt like that, So obviously you encounter that.
yeah.
I do remember even some more harrowing ones in terms of that. My first summer in St. Paul, it wasn't in Minneapolis that was. I remember that there was a Ku Klux Klan rally, and I was like, and I thought this was something of the past. I didn't know that
Yeah,
it
it's
was
so
a
happening.
living, breathing thing. That's so America is good from afar, but far from good sometimes.
Wow.
So yeah,
That'll be scary,
I remember
man.
there was a Klan rally,
What?
and it's wild. So it's actually wild to me that years later, now that I am mostly here, that George Floyd happened in Minneapolis recently, the ICE things in Minneapolis, but I have like a first-hand experience there, and it's not so shocking sometimes.
No.
But it was a great time though. Yeah, I mean, there were so many immigrants in Minneapolis as well, so it actually was more multicultural than I thought.
Did you choose economics or economics chose you?
It felt like a sensible choice, because if you know what you're going to do, like a lawyer, doctor, or those things, go for something more concrete. But economics at the time felt like what you could do, and then you could venture into anything else. And that's what a lot of the international students were doing. So it's like, I went to liberal arts college. I took a theater seminar. I took a political development class. It was such a well-rounded education. So economics was a practical choice. I did enjoy it to a certain degree, if I'm being honest. But initially, I took it because it seemed like a pragmatic choice. Like, you don't know exactly what you're going to do, but it will offer you the flexibility. That's wherever you're moving towards. It's not a bad thing to have as a foundation.
I've spoken to previous guests who say when they go abroad, they suddenly realize that they are black or they are African. Your Africanness is sharpened when you travel. Was that a similar experience to you, or you had a completely different vibe?
Yeah, you have the lens through which you viewed your identity will shift a bit. We've lived amongst ourselves for so long. Being black is not. I've never.
It's not a big deal.
What's the register on me? To me and Susada. That was the Mensa Hook had. Being a Bibini is not something that sort of you had to proclaim. It was organically part of yourself. But and rather over here it's more ethnicities and nationalities.
Yeah.
So but then in America it's different. You're not the majority of people, and the billboards and people with you. It's as much as race is a construct, racism is a reality. So yeah, there's a quick learning curve of what your identity is.
Did you ever get stopped by the police?
Oh yeah, I got stopped walking once, and that was crazy. That was crazy to me. It was a crazy story because
Walking?
Yeah, I parked. This was after college. I parked. I was going to a show, a place called the Dinky Town in Minneapolis, and I parked on the streets. In America, sometimes it'll be like no parking after 10 or before 10 p.m. or whatever. So I parked somewhere in the middle of the street. So then I walked to either side of the road to try and see what that sign said. So I was trying to figure out, because I didn't want to get towed or get a ticket. So I did that. And then I started walking back, going to the place. A cop car drove, or police cars would say in Ghana. Police car drove towards me and then crossed me on the sidewalk. And he got to aggressively, ID or whatever kind of thing. I was in such shock. I just, gave him ID, etc. And he went to the car, ran it, etc. But it was it happened in such an aggressive and sudden way. Thankfully, I guess self-preservation tactics of an African man. I didn't have this, what are you stopping for, etc., which would have been well within my rights.
Yes.
But, maybe I don't have the same generational trauma that will have that response.
Did they tell you why they were stopping
you? So, this is afterwards. So, but you see that what's crazy? So afterwards he said, it was suspicious behavior. Me trying to find out the parking thing, I was
you-
walking around suspiciously. How is that a crime? Like, what is suspicious? Like, even if I wanted to walk up and down the streets, it's not a thing. But the crazy part about it is he didn't stop me and ask me, what are you looking for? Oh, is there anything you want or something of sort?
Just assumed.
It didn't. I mean, he took my ID, so I could have a warrant for, you know, like I fit the profile of a crime that had not been committed.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. But that pales in comparison to, you know, people have lost their lives.
Yeah,
People
bro,
are
that-
living in systematic racism and can barely make a living. They are trapped in a cycle of, you know, family members and institutionalized. So, but all that to say, even going in as somebody who goes to a college, a university, once you live there, America will not shy away from telling you that you think you're Ghanaian, no, you're black. That's that's more important to us than that.
Yeah.
Oh, so you have to develop a triple consciousness, I suppose, which is one, that America sees you as black. Two, you're an immigrant or a foreigner. Wait, I said triple consciousness. There's double consciousness, but there's a triple. Okay, yeah, I think the initial consciousness is what we all have, but then the other one is being black. I think that was the Dubois concept, double consciousness. But we're saying triple because being an immigrant is another layer to it. You speak with an accent, so you might not be seen as intelligent, or as it's happening now, there's like so-called diaspora wars and black people pitted against each other. And
was that how it was back then? When you have like tension between the Africans and then the
I mean, there's
African
always
Americans?
that, but not in this, how it's happening in these kind of pockets online that I've seen now, you know, and it all seems very orchestrated by evil groups from who are not black, you know. I mean, see what's happening in South Africa. You always have to look beyond the people being pitted to each other and against each other and ask, like, what are the machinations that are happening that are making some of these things happen?
Who's holding the puppet strings?
Yeah, I don't want to go all conspiracy theories, as they say, but we've learned from history. It was a conspiracy theory that CIA was involved in Nkrumah. Then decades later, it's not a conspiracy, nor theory. It was a reality. So yeah, but America definitely, you learn a lot in that regard, and I think for me it's been beneficial also as somebody who part of my practice and my craft is to storytell and also to articulate ideas of who we are. But who we are is very different in different places, and I really understand why somebody like Nkrumah had the perspective he had. When you've gone and been an African and a black person in another place, it's perspective building. Yeah.
You saw Ghana. The way you see Ghana, did the way you saw Ghana change when you were in America?
I think I was looking at Ghana more because when you're not home, you crave home. You look at Ghana more, and I was also just growing older as a person.
Did you get lonely sometimes? Miss Ghana?
Of course, I mean, but at the same time, I wasn't one of those people that didn't embrace the idea of. I was open to the world, you know. Let's see what this new experience is. The experience teaches me about myself and the world and friendships that would develop. So I would advise that to people. I know people go every place and they want to find the Ghanaians, the Ghanaian restaurant, etc. And you should, to a certain degree, patronize the thing. But you should also be open to new experiences and new things. It's important.
When your sound, when we started discovering your sound, did the reaction to your music surprise you?
My early days was I hadn't discovered my sound. It was very raw. I'm building my skill, very hip hop. The African presence in the music was much lower, the first album at least, because you're somewhere else, and that's before you develop this intentionality and consciousness, and you're just trying to do, you know, I almost cast dope things.
So bring the stuff out.
You know, so then who you are and what you want your thing to be kind of seeps into it more. You know, it's like Bob Marley. A lot of people don't realize they listen to very, very early Bob Marley. It's not.
Yeah.
There was more R&B.
Yeah, it sounded like Sam Cooke back then.
Yeah, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's a process. Not all of us are blessed to know it when we are 5 years old. Some of us, we have to go through the process of doing dope stuff, but it's not quite yet what we want to be, and then just evolving from that. If you listen to the Fugees' first album, it's very different from the score because there's an evolution there. So for me, it was an evolutionary process, which is still happening, but now there's more of a confidence in terms of how the musical identity is. I think a lot of people who are familiar with my work can see how it often is distinct from other people within the ecosystem. Yeah.
Let's talk about rap competition. Yeah, because a lot of braggadocio and I'm better than you, blah blah blah. Is it generic to hip hop? Can hip hop exist without, or rap exist without the battles, the bragging, the rankings?
It'd be so boring without it.
It's boring, huh?
I heard Jay-Z recently say that maybe we've gone to a place where we don't need it. I disagree with him completely.
If I did,
if I did. I did like watch battle rap stuff, and that is even for people who are not in the culture, it will be so jarring. These people are talking about murdering each other, their family, etc., and then they finish and then they shake hands.
Like footballers are playing.
Yes, you know. But when it transfers, is more. It's from away from that kind of theatrical thing on the stage to the music. What I would say is I don't know that I will ever leave because there have always been literary wars, for instance, and like I said, we are also writers. So if there have been literary wars because those people who write always have a point of view, I don't know. Did Achebi and Soyinka, did they get along? They didn't.
No,
I don't remember. I'm just asking. I know some of they've been anyway. All that to say, they've people who are in the business of words and ideas are going to have conflict.
They're going to compete. There'll be conflict.
Yeah, because I say this, you say that. Because you start representing ideologies of things, you know. Because just because they are all talented doesn't mean they are the same kind of. Somebody might be pro-billionaires. Somebody might, like me, can be like, yo, I get what Mam Danny is saying. Why should I be like... You know what I mean? Yeah. So, invariably, because hip-hop too is not just, unlike other music, it's bold and brazen. That's part of...
Confrontational.
No, it doesn't. Not even just confrontational. It's bold and brazen in terms of the ability to say it. Like, I don't think there's any other music, for instance, that uses cuss words more because the idea is unfiltered. If the thing day your mind, talk out as it is. So, because of that, I think there's invariably always going to be level of rivalries and, as you put it, competition. And I don't think it's negative. Obviously, it's not. It's imperfect. It can become like gimmicky. And then, you know, in America, which is also a place where guns run rampant, right now you're seeing things bleed into each other. People who are gangsters kill each other and then say they're smoking on their ops and all these things that they are way beyond my realm of understanding. I don't have the competencies to start talking about it, but I can understand how it can be jarring and then seen as negative sometimes. But I think it's part of the culture. The key word is culture. Culture has aspects of it that makes whatever. I mean, when you go to Senegal, don't they have this wrestling kind of thing? You know, culture has these things, you know. It's, yeah, I mean, I can imagine even when you go to a traditional, if anything,
funeral,
wedding.
Everybody
has a champion. I mean, look at the banter.
Battle.
Come on, you understand?
Yeah. Champions are bantering.
Yeah, so it's part of it. You know,
so the God MC era it had to happen, right?
The era. I mean, right now it's God MC squared, my G. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just, you know, you plant your flag and you say what you need to say, and it's part of it. It's just part of it, you know. It's part of it. But we're beyond that. You know, this year is the 10th anniversary of Nowhere Cool. So I think that's the era you're referring to. And there's a rebirth, so maybe I need to rebirth it. From God MC, what do we need to be?
What's higher than the God? I threw a question back
Without
to you.
people telling me blasphemy. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, no, it's evolution. You know what I mean? It's evolution. I mean, we are older now, so there's still, yeah, one is still fierce with the pen, etc. But you take on a different role.
Yeah.
It would take a lot for somebody to take me into the, I guess, that realm of things outside of just regular braggadocio or just, you know, 1 or 2 shots. But full on engagement, it would take a lot in the sense of the fact that you have to also look at what you represent now, right? In terms of as a beacon of something to, even if it's 2 artists, you know, but to other people coming after you. You understand?
Yeah.
I don't, for instance, would not fancy seeing 2 60-year-olds at my, even as, because I'm younger than 2 60-year-olds physically fighting somewhere that they could not even whatever. Obviously, this is not a physical fight, but I'm just saying it makes it kind of
some way.
Yeah, so you know, one becomes more conscientious. There's a self-awareness that you move with now. You don't lose, and that's why I understand somebody like Jay-Z's coming now saying that he doesn't think but I think, I don't know, my brother, you're a big man, but culturally there, I'm with it, you know.
So tomorrow, if there's a battle challenge, rap battle, something, freestyle, whatever, you go do it.
What is it? Who's paying what?
I don't know.
You have to paint the scene for me, because that's not what I've ever done. I wasn't like a person who was in a battle rap league, etc. I just a person that on record was able to kind of engage that way, right? And unapologetic.
And you still do that.
That's what I'm saying. Now is like
It's evolution.
The evolution is not that. Yeah, it's still possible. Like, but it's not. It's such a far-fetched thing because it's almost like, yo, that time passed. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, but never say never, because there's different circumstances or whatever. I mean, that can change that, because some of it is just the decision making was just not, it won't be as careless in the sense of the fact that, not that I was ever careless, but it's got to represent more than just an ego thing. Because yeah, you know, like you just have to, yeah, especially if it's also somebody much younger than me trying to, you know, we have to respect ourselves more. But that's what I'm saying. The way I am, and I am for the culture, I have not eliminated it.
No,
it's still a possibility. It just might look a little different because
times have changed.
Yeah, we are becoming more respectable human beings. I have a whole teenager. I mean, come on.
What's that like being a daddy, man?
Man, as you see, it keeps coming up because it's become one of my greatest preoccupations in life now, because I've never been that before. And first, you've never been a daddy to a child, then a baby, then to a 4-year-old. So, but I also think that the teenage is a more critical stage where it's like, this is the last time you have any kind of proper influence before the world takes over them. So it's a huge preoccupation for me, and I hope, because I think most parents want their children to be better than them. I'm saying that loosely, and not in the sense of maybe professional or whatever, but just as humans, whether it's how you enjoy life, how you are as a human to others. So yeah, it's a preoccupation. I want to be able to romanticize and say it's simply a joy, but no, it's not simply a joy. It's also like it requires a bit of work, the same way that my practice and profession does.
Yeah, it's a craft.
And yeah, it's not a craft, but it demands attention and thought, and yeah, it's not just like you don't automatically know what to do about everything.
No, we learn as we go.
Yeah, and also it can't always be reactive parenting. Something goes wrong, whatever. It has to be proactive parenting too, like being able to teach a child certain things. Yeah. Not just when, I think a lot of parenting here is you've done something wrong.
When something wrong has happened.
It's corrective, but it's not leading you on a path. So so it's a big preoccupation for me, and I always hope that I can do justice as a parent.
Let's talk about some of your collaborations. Burna Boy.
Yeah.
What was that like? How did that come out?
Oh, that was fantastic. I think we did another story that was on this album, and we did Tomorrow that was on mine. Came to play Manifestivities. That's when we properly connected. But there was a connection prior before. We just hadn't really met. But when we met, it was good. I mean, he's extremely talented. I mean, I'm glad to have been part of that classic album, African Giant. We've done other music, some of which is not out. But I mean, he's done a tremendous job. I mean, stadium tours, African artists. Has been working like nobody's business. So yeah, that was definitely great because it was also the turning of something. You know, that 2019 era, you could just feel it. Like that was really another leap for modern African music into the global. It was already having global strides, but it was another leap. You know, by 2020. Pandemic or 2021, you go there, you're hearing Essence, you're hearing Ye, Ben. So being part of that, even not being an Afrobeat artist, but being part of that was just dope to see. It was really dope that we shot 2 music videos, Another Story, and then Tomorrow. So yeah, big up to the man them.
Tony Allen.
Man, now speak of another giant, man.
The drummer.
Yeah.
Fella's drummer.
Yeah. So I was fortunate enough to meet him around 2010, and we worked on songs. That was on a collaborative album he had with Damon Albarn from Gorillaz and Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers. I was on 4 tracks, I think, or 5 tracks on that album. Been on tours with him. The crazy thing is that I'd been invited to play what I believe would have been his 80th birthday in a Royal Albert Hall or something of sort. And he passed just before that.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. So yeah, I'd gotten the call. I'd agreed I was going to be part of that. So yeah, but once again, I celebrate how incredible it, and what an honor it was that I got to know somebody like that for a decade and do music and see him as an uncle figure almost. Yeah.
What's it like watching him drum?
I mean, you see the weight of history, and then the literal thing is that he's effortless.
Yeah.
Because I think he talks about it that it's not about a kachel. It's just like how groovy, whatever. But then you're watching it and then he's so cool. Like he was very cool. His shades, his whiskey. He's very cool. And then also you're seeing the weight of these guys. They determined what a new sound was. He's part of an innovation called Afrobeat without an S.
Without an S, exactly.
That, evolved high life and funk and other things into something also very specific. And you're seeing the weight of the rhythm of that there. So seeing him is, and then here I am doing songs and rapping over that.
It's crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah. Well, big ups to you too, man.
Oh, no, big ups to them. I'm just a humble servant playing my role.
But they saw something in you, man. They didn't pick anybody, so big up to you as well. Would you say you're operating from legacy now? These days? Not yet?
No, nowhere close. Maybe when I catch like 60 or something. I think I'm in a chapter that is going to determine what the rest of my life looks like.
So pre-legacy kind of.
Yeah, perhaps, yeah. I think that's the chapter I'm in, but it's very reflective and it's also very not giddy. It's calculated. It's moving with wisdom, not with thirst and desperation. Okay,
That's Kofi Kinata.
That's Kofi Kinata.
It must be a sign.
He heard his name, and he had to decide to make an appearance.
An appearance.
Yeah, so,
unscheduled.
Unscheduled appearance. So we'll take it like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the pre-legacy.
Yeah. So it's just
no giddy.
it's just moving with a different kind of thing. Look, one of the beautiful things is about longevity, and what I've seen people before me that I try to also whatever is you have to accept growth and the change of things. It's very difficult seeing like an older artist that's really always trying to be in the hot spots. No, it's a new allow. it's good to be in a revered place and still be active. You're fortunate enough to be active and doing your thing. I love seeing a Kwabena. I would never, Kwabena would never have to be competing with Kiddie or whatever. This is part of a thing. It's amazing to have different generations of people, and that you can see. I can go and watch Kwabena and Kiddie. They are all active at this point in time. So
at different stages of the career.
Part of it is kind of be graceful with in how you go in this thing. So one is attempting to be on that thing, still being sharp with what you do, and still being, because I still give credit to people like because I mean most of his fans now are probably like younger, whatever.
Yeah.
But age hasn't necessarily meant not being experimental for them. So for a person like me, I also find that interesting. I mean, you don't have to just use him. You can use many people. Ebo Taylor and Pat Thomas made some of the most fantastic music of their lives in their 70s, possibly.
Yeah.
Love and Death, I think Ebo Taylor must have done it like later on in his life.
Yes.
So, yeah, there has to be, you have to be graceful about this thing, the legacy thing there will determine itself. You have to create the legacy to become a legacy artist.
Exactly. Do you reckon there are some invisible walls that are preventing or blocking African artists from like getting out there globally?
Invisible walls. No, I mean global capital has flowed in. The world is smaller. Being in the know, there's Africans or people of African origins are music execs in different places. So maybe part of it is for the lack of knowledge my people perish. I mean, I think unfortunately artists and their teams have to treat this thing like anything. You have to know so much about it. The music business is a bit more difficult because it changes so much as technology is changing, all that. So even if you were to have gone to school if you knew it so intimately 5 years ago, all you knew might not apply.
Yeah.
So part of it is just sort of this steady learning, knowing, pursuing, finding out how the thing is, and then so there are no walls. I think some of the obvious limitations are there. We are not like a huge economic center in the world. Purchasing power. If you look at Spotify, Apple Music, what percentage of the population? But that has to do with just economic things. How many people are even on the internet? Have all that stuff? Can afford data? So you have to consider those contexts. But as we've seen from other possibilities, you have to maybe work 3 times as hard, if not 5. As maybe an artist of equivalent talent who is from London, Paris, Brussels, or somewhere else. And it's okay, but we have advantages. African music has been sexy for like a good 6 years now. It never was not sexy, but I'm saying the world,
just realized.
In the world of business.
Yeah.
More importantly, the world of business.
Yeah.
So we have to take some agency, or have some agency with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you're waiting to be called, your name will never be called.
Be so. What contribution are you most proud of with your art?
Oh, that one I've not made it yet. It's coming.
So work in progress, like Ghana.
It's a work in progress. But if it comes to just probably impact, I would have to be honest and say nowhere cool, because there's so many people that on a daily, it was just such a big part of a portion of their life. And and say it's a classic, and say it's probably the one people take World Cup the most for me. And of course, I have a homie who's a bit over 50. He feels that way. His kids feel that way.
Two generations.
So yeah. So if I'm sitting outside of myself, I have to say that it's not about being proud of. I am
fulfilled.
I'm quite intrigued by the sort of impact that album has made and continues to make, and how people consider it. And this year we'll celebrate the 10th anniversary, and we'll do a couple of things for it. So stay tuned.
We're on standby.
Yeah.
What do you reckon future generations should say M.anifest music stands for?
I have no idea, and that's not for me to worry about, you know. I don't think.
What would you like it to be?
It's not a preoccupation of mine. I think my biggest preoccupation is the doing. You know, if I do what needs to be done, what needs to be said about it will be said about it. It's not we're way past the point of, you know, massaging egos or whatever for that to be the purpose of this. Like, I want people to say this. No, I want it. Maybe there will come a time where even the names are erased from the music. If there came that time and the music I made did what it's supposed to do, I would still be content. It doesn't need to be my name attached to it per se. I mean, obviously, if I'm being practical, it would be great with the name, partly because you're going to have descendants and other people, just like people say Van Gogh, Picasso, It would be good for Ghana to have, you know, just as we've had the Able Taylors and J.H. Kitias and whatever, to have a long and lengthy list of really impactful craftspeople in arts. And if, you know, and I create with greatness in mind, so obviously one would want to have that impact in posterity, but it can't be my preoccupation to be revered or to be celebrated. You know, if I do my work, the work will do what needs to be done.
What matters now? Influence or ownership?
Ownership in what way?
Your craft, your music, controlling it.
I think the idea of ownership is overrated in a sense of, if you have land and you don't have the resources to build anything on it, sometimes it might be better for you to
All you have is land.
to do a JV with somebody who kind of thing. So for instance, making music and owning that is an asset that you can leverage for many different things. And you and maybe if your future children or whatever, so if they license it or sell it, whatever it is, it's an asset that can whatever. So this generic thing of ownership,
It doesn't have to be 100%.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Even if at some point it's 0%, what if it takes your family out into a generational thing, into then agribusiness is your thing, or whatever it is, tech or whatever. It's fine. It did what it does. Obviously, we are very attached to our art and the things we do. So the idea that it will completely leave our hands, whatever. But I want artists and other people to always remember that there is the creative and cultural aspect of it, but there's also the commercial, in which you have to completely have a different understanding and how to leverage that for your own benefit. And if you are working through that with just, you know, emotional considerations, you might completely misunderstand. The music you made is spiritual, but the CD is for sale.
One time. In good CDs.
No more CDs anyway, the streaming. But I had to use CDs.
The CDs. Ghana one.
Oh, bars.
They're the master now. I've learned something. Okay, we're almost done. These are either or, quick ones.
Okay.
Medina or Minneapolis?
Medina.
Arsenal win or hit record?
Bro, I want that global hit, bro.
Forget the Ghana, sir.
Oh,
For now.
Global, right now, if you chop 1 billion streams on Apple Music, you know the money they come. That one, if the Ghanaians they lose, I can take vacation anytime. Are you mad? Guys.
And whip into champagne.
And don't just say hits. Qualify global
hits.
hits.
Okay, so Arsenal win or global hits.
Yes, hits is overrated. Ghanaians, you see a Ghanaian hits and then you go to Spotify, it has 2 million streams. Bro.
We want global hits.
I want global hits.
Watch it or jollof?
Watch it, bro. Watch it.
With the beans.
What? Watch it. His beans is already.
The beans make the difference from the jollof, right? I guess.
Oh, it's more than just that. Watch it just like Kinky. It's everything that comes with it.
Where's
That
your
makes
plug?
it spectacular.
You have a watch it plug?
Yeah, near me, but I can't say it online. You understand?
The question is now, where are you?
I am here with you and forevermore. I am forevermore. Amen.
Lyrics or flow?
Both.
Okay. Hip hop or high life?
Both.
Studio at midnight, studio at sunrise.
Yeah, sunrise.
Studio at sunrise. Okay. Tree punchline or English metaphor?
None.
None.
I like none of these things has by itself is interesting. It's the context. What is the dope thing is doing? Is it in a dope song? You know, none of these things, they are just tools they are means to an end. So by themselves, I don't choose them because it doesn't do anything. A punchline is a punchline. It doesn't matter which language it's in. How it's delivered matters. So that even if I don't understand the language, I feel it rhythmically or melodically. So by them, none.
Who's? I mean, of punchlines, who consistently delivers great punchlines?
In our local
in your ecosystem doesn't have
like
to be
globally.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, the obvious ones when we're growing up, like somebody like Jadakiss is known for that. It's a very New York style type of rapping.
Okay.
Like
Right.
the originators, it's so out of either Every Other Bar, you know. If you watch What I Do in, you know, plug in the Hennessy freestyle, you know, the game is the game. No need to be emotional, you know. Married to my purpose every morning. I'm devotional. The game is the game. If we don't get money, waiting we gain. If Jesus came today, some would be waiting again. It's a very punchline style, but that's for that arena. If you find people on freestyles, on the radar, etc., you see it. Yeah, but it's just, once again, it's a tool. A punchline style does sometimes it's for me is actually inferior to storytelling. Inferior, but let's say storytelling ability is sometimes more superior to a punchline ability, because as wild as we are by the razzle dazzle of the punchline, if it doesn't end anywhere, we leave it in the moment. But when you know, I listen to The Art of Storytelling by Outkast, you know, it's like that now. You better. That's what Screw met at that his partner named Sasha Thamba, and Andre is telling and Big Boy are telling those stories. It sticks with you. Or when I was younger, Lost Boys Renee. The love is the love that we live by. Remember he's talking about meeting this lawyer. You know, and all that. So all these, you know, I don't want to privilege some over the other, but all these are just tools, and just mastery of them is great, and then finding what it is that you want to contribute to the world. Jadakiss, even though as a punchline MC, has incredible songs like, you know, We Gonna Make It with Star Speed. He knows it. Exactly, with The Alchemist. So the song is not necessarily about a thing, but the way it feels and just like the different things and how they're going off is amazing. So yeah, I mean, yeah. So Yapono was good with punchlines. Locally, for instance, he says really clever, witty things, or maybe. But you see, the Ghana thing is very interesting, because language has a real interesting ability to determine how it is. Some, if you listen to Hausa or Xhosa or a couple of these languages, some of them lend themselves so easily to flows and patterns, but also it's how the language is used. You see, English, for instance, people have know what the punchline is like when they say using like, you know, or as, or whatever. There are certain ways of the language
to connect things,
and sometimes people try to do that in their language instead of using the power of their language, and so it becomes cringe a little bit. So I would not lie, sometimes within our ecosystem, the way we try to punchline is very cringe. sometimes.
To use the power of the
Yeah,
language.
what is it that,
inherent.
what are we better? Our languages are very proverbial and have like double entendres and different things. You know, look at all those Ebony songs.
Yeah.
It's easy to do those things. Shout out to Bullets and all the people involved. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Use the power of what
Yeah.
it is. Like Pigeon has a whole different feel to it and has a way in which I feel sometimes the Afrobeat artists are even using it better than the rappers in terms of like just certain statements, whether, but you know, before like things that just resonate and connect to the audience. How the use of language is just wonderful, man. It's really not about what the language is. You know, we have to study these things. We are craftspeople. You are not going to find an architect who doesn't study what the thing is. And then when I say study, it's not school. It's just like, Charlie, you're obsessively like, you are in the know of the thing. So, and people want to sometimes have something negative to say about craftspeople who I'm really in the know of their thing.
Immersed into it.
Yeah, it's almost like they want the N1 basketball player. No, I want to be an NBA. You want the N1 street
highest
boys,
level,
whatever.
man.
Highest level.
Highest level, that be.
You understand?
Yep.
Yeah, anyways.
Back to the either us, live band or DJ.
Live band.
All right.
I do nothing wrong with the DJ. I love it, but you know, at this stage, yeah.
Vinyl or streaming?
Vinyl. As much as I love access to all that music, I mean, do you know how much money I make if you buy the vinyl?
Maybe so. The economics is talking, man.
Yeah.
Bookshop or nightclub?
Neither. Home.
That's it. Finish. Grammy or timeless catalog?
Timeless catalog.
Old school rap, new school rap?
All of the above.
All of the above. Introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
Has it blocked you from accessing
I'm socially
opportunity?
capable. I'm socially very capable. I just my social battery and sort of how I like to process. It's not necessarily, you know, I'm in the studio rarely with people, etc. No, it's just it's an internal thing more than it is an inability. I'm not an awkward whatever. It's how my internal system is. But my job has made me. Not just my job, actually. Throughout my life, I think having social skills is not the issue. I'm not. Yeah, it's just one prefers certain things, and one peace of mind one gets a certain way. So it leans towards more of the traits of the introverted traits. Yeah.
Maybe so.
I can't let you go without satisfying my curiosity. I like what you're wearing on your head. On the front it says Africa, and on my side I see Patrice Lumumba, Thomas Sankara, Sheikh Anta Diop, Muammar Gaddafi. On the other side, Samora Machel, Amilcar Cabral, Sylvanus Olympio, Steve Biko. These are some big black guys.
Yeah,
Africans.
This is a hat made by my friends. They have an incredible fashion brand called M.anifest. One of them is of Ghanaian origin. The other is of, I think, is it Angolan? But they're both really cool. Based out of London, New York, Abidjan, Accra, maybe Lomé. But what I love about their brand is the fact that, they are very unapologetically connected to the African and Black experience, and like they project these really strong ideas out. And this one is brilliant. You know, you have Africa, and then you just have these names that you know, you can argue whether all of them are in the same realm, but they are all of some level of significance in their various countries. And I love fashion pieces that are statement pieces, and to call this a statement piece is almost an understatement.
It's like are those beads?
Yes,
on the ring.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, such a crazy innovation.
I love it.
So you are going to see me in plenty music videos with it, because I want to wear it, because it has so much to it. But it's fly. You understand? Pick up to ACF if you want to get it, but hopefully it's run out so I don't walk in the streets and anybody else. Nobody can get to school.
I love it.
And finally, who is your recommendation for the next guest?
Oh, wow. It's my recommendation for the next guest.
Yep.
Oh, man, this is a good one. Now I have to think
Yes.
about whose stories I would love to hear. You know, have you had Professor Akilak Pasoya on this?
Ah, that's a good pick. I haven't had him yet, no.
Yeah. I'm curious.
Former Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana.
Yes, but beyond that, yeah, I mean, yeah. I think I'm people like that probably have a lot of stories about the things that they've been involved with that probably are less known to
Yes. It's a good pick.
to a lot of us. Yeah.
We'll look for him.
Yeah.
He was VC when I was in school.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
That's a personal connection.
We'll look for him. We'll look for him.
Yeah. Excellent.
That's your camera, man.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want to say.
Grateful to be here. Congratulations, and a really good idea. And the game is the game. No need to be emotional.
Maybe so, M.anifest. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
I really appreciate this.
I appreciate you too.
As always,
Big
thank
up
you
to all your people, man.
Oh yes, they all did there. Some of them love the music that you were doing.
Today at least I'll get like 10 streams from
one time
from this room.
You're good, man. You're good to go. At least. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed to this podcast, please do so now, and remember to hit the bell for alerts for new conversations. And if you're a business and you decide to sponsor or partner with us, call this number +233 243 024 552 and let's talk. My name is Kafui Dey. God bless. Yes.
Charlie, you get power. These long form interviews. How many do you do a week?
We're doing one after this one.
Woo!